I was muted that whole time. You guys tell it's been a while. That's the wrong one. Okay. There it is. They're saying you're muted. Can you guys hear me?
That's why. Okay, that whole time I was talking, I think I got it right now. My Blue Snowball mic should be straight. Let me know if you guys can hear me right now in the chat. Can you guys hear me? As I was saying for the third time, it's been a long time since we've done an RFL podcast, and we are finally back with one. And man, we needed to have one for sure for this upcoming season. The season's already here. For this upcoming playoffs, we got one more month left of the playoffs, man, and I'm excited. It's been a wild season. This Madden has been wild. I'll say that. I'll talk a little bit more about that towards the end. It's been an historical season and sense of statistics, which I personally don't like, but I'll get into that. But we're go ahead and just again just dive straight into. I don't think you guys heard when I said this though, but we're not going to go into the recapping of the games from this past week. We're just going to go ahead and jump into the playoff scenarios. We're going to go ahead and get a look at what the playoff currently looks like, give our predictions based off of if the playoffs were to start today. You guys know we do that all the time. If the playoffs were to start today, who would win the Reload Bowl? Go through that. Then we'll go ahead and get a look at all the season award leading leaders. So you guys know who potentially might win a Reload Bowl. Not I said a Reload Bowl, an award. For this year. So definitely been a lot of candidates. And then we're going to also be diving into our predictions for this upcoming week with the week 15 that we got going up. And just talking about big key things that's happened this season since our last podcast. Just to talk about, man, certain teams, situations, and stuff going on. But yeah, let's go ahead and get straight into that. So the first thing I want to go ahead and dive into is the scenarios. And so shout out to Rodney for doing some AI generating for us. Would have liked the logos to be a tad bit more cleaner. For the most part, looking at the logos, you're gonna know exactly what team it is. Just a little small things are off, but doesn't look too bad. Only using it for the podcast, of course, not posting that on social media. But let's go ahead and get into those scenarios. First, starting as always into the ARC. And when we look at it, we got to start from north, south, east, and west. So starting in the north, which I think this is a great division to start off when we talk about the playoff scenario. And not only that, who's going to win the division? At first, the Huskies had this division in a chokehold. It didn't even seem like no one's going to have a chance against them this year on catching up. But lo and behold, you could see bearing the same record coming out of nowhere. It's Coach Roby and the Chicago Cougars now both sitting at 9-4 on the season. The last couple of weeks for the Cougars has been wild, and man, it's just crazy. Forbes had got with Rodney to dial all this up. And if you can see the last 4 games are present right there, we'll go over that and how we think guys would end their season. And there are a couple. I think there's only one team is the Shamrocks that we mentioned before is the only one that's kind of missing off the potential playoff race.
So technically, like on this one, the Pioneers sitting at 5-8 aren't eliminated, but they can't win the division. So the only teams I had Rodney put on there are teams who could still win the division. So like the Shamrocks, who are 6-7, can't win the division for the NRC East, so they didn't get put on there, even though they're not technically eliminated yet.
Gotcha. All right, so just looking at the 3 teams who have a shot, which is crazy. There's a couple of teams that have done what the Hogs have done, man. The Cincinnati Hogs went from being a what was it, 1-5
1-5.
team? Yeah, we're a 1-5 team, and ever since then won 6 of their last 7 games, which is absolutely incredible. This was a team that made it to the playoffs last year with their rookie sensation Ronnie Shanahan. But what happened beginning of this season, if guys remember, of course you probably know now if you've been keeping up, uh, he got benched after about week 3. Lost some
Yeah,
crucial
exactly.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah, lost some crucial games for the Hogs at first, and then it just seemed as though, hey, we just picked up Lane Kearney, a former vet, a former conference MVP in the league. Let's get him on this team playing and see what he can do. And the first game he played, he started and started. They won. They lost a couple after that, but once he got his groove with those receivers, man, that offense was on fire. The run game is looking great. Looks like it's picking up where it left off when they had Dre Shivers there. Of course, we know Dre Shivers retired, which was a big shock. Well, actually, I don't think he did. He actually regressed so bad. I
Yeah,
think
he just
that's what happened.
regressed.
Yeah, he regressed so bad, man. He just wasn't the same. So we pretty much can just say he got retired after that. But yeah, they are definitely in the fold for making the playoffs. And so let's go ahead and start. Let's start from like the bottom to the top, right? Let's start from the Hogs all the way up to the Huskies, going in that order, just so we can get to that last team, see if they can hold their division based off the 4 teams they got. So you got the Hogs, their next game coming up this week. They're going up against the Huskies, so knocking off the first game off rip for both of these teams. Not only that, they play each other, and not only in week 15, but they play each other in week 17. So they have 2 division games left. Haven't met each other this season. And so when we're looking at that, first game's going to be at the Huskies, second game is going to be at the Hogs. But let's talk about this first game. Um, do you see the Hogs getting the best of the Huskies on the road? And the reason I bring that up is because the Huskies, even though just this past week they lost their first road game, they've lost every other game at home and in rainy conditions. So home games haven't been good for the Huskies. Uh,
Yeah.
do you think it
Looking at it
rains
now,
there? What are you thinking?
the Huskies are 2-3 at home right now. But I mean, you look at their losses, it's to the Condors and the Bisons, who are both, playoff teams, and then one loss to the Pioneers at home, which, divisional games always go either way. But I think the Huskies still have to be favored in both of these games, whether they're home or away. And the Hogs are just gonna. I think best case scenario for the Hogs is they split it 1-1.
Yeah.
But I think the Huskies should win both of these.
Yeah, if we're going through, I have a feeling as if the Hogs will lose one of those. I don't know why. I feel like it could be this game. I do have the Huskies, of course, favored. We're talking dry conditions. One thing about the Huskies that kind of had me in a bit of a question mark with the team is that the offense just started to die off really bad the last like 3 to 4 weeks. And granted, those were against very tough teams, right? Those are good teams with good defenses, but at the same time, that makes you wonder, well, how good is this team going to be when the playoffs roll around? Because when we talk about the playoffs in the RFL, like that's when you're facing up against real monsters, and every week you got to bring your A game and show that you have the capability, if you have that type of offense, to score against the better defenses. They have not been doing that. They just lost their last game against the Snowhawks last week, literally when they had a 13-point lead. Um and they didn't score a single touchdown, and lost it because of again, the offensive line's been having some troubles. That's another question mark I see for the Huskies at times. Is they let up a lot of sacks on Calvin Poole, and sometimes he loses that rock. And when he loses the rock, and you're able to pick that up and score, um, that's a problem for any team that's got that going on. But looking at the Hogs, I'm gonna just say in my gut I feel like they're gonna split. So I'm gonna say let's give the Hogs this first game. I don't know why I feel like it's about to be a rain game, like we've been seeing for the Huskies for a minute. But and then I give them that. So if we give them 1-1 right now, they'll be sitting at 8-7. Their Week 16 game, they go up against the Celtic Tigers, who have been absolutely hot. We talk about the Hogs being 1-5. The Celtic Tigers were 1-6 and have won their last 6 games and are now over 500 at 7-6. This is just a team that is just built off of a culture of winning, the most winningest team in RFL history. And it's just crazy how these guys are able to shake back. Never had a losing season. Doesn't look like they're going to have one now. I mean, still got some games going, but that's going to be on the road in Dublin. How do you feel about that? Do you think they win that game?
I would take Dublin
Yeah, I kind
in
of
that
feel the
game. To
same.
be honest. Just with the way they're rolling, their defense has really bounced back. This is one of those games that's kind of could go either way, but I think with just how, again, the Celtic Tigers are 6-0 in their last 6 games. Well, the Hogs are 6-1 in their last 7. So both teams are really hot right now. I think I've liked more what I've seen in the Celtic Tigers, and it's more so I'm taking Justin Jones over Lane Kearney at this point.
You know what else is crazy, man? Just thinking about the history. If Mix was on here with us, he'd remember this. But people don't, if real RFL fans remember the big rivalry, I'll still say it's a rivalry when the Celtic Tigers play the Hogs. Those are some of the most legendary games in the past. The big games, the big 2 games I remember, which I've said many a times on podcasts, is when Dre Crowell, when Rob was coaching the Celtic Tigers, his first team at the time, and Dre Crowell was playing terrible, and he was just like, "Oh man, Dre, I want him off. He's old. He's not good, and all this stuff." And to go ahead bench him, put in the rookie. I think yeah, Justin Jones at the time,
Okay.
and man, I couldn't make the substitution, and then Dre had to play out, and he actually drove him back to win that game. And then even the game before that, the Hogs had a similar overtime victory over them, um, before he even got there. So the games between those two is absolutely incredible. So I'm gonna say they go at this point 1-2. I think the Celtic Tigers take that, and then they got the Lumberjacks, and well, actually they are home. Yeah, they're home against the Celtic Tigers, but they're on the road against the Lumberjacks for their last game. The Lumberjacks have definitely underperformed. They had a really tough schedule, though. I will say that. Um, and you just don't know what you're going to get from them. They're sitting at 4-9. Do you think that the Hogs defeat them in their final game?
I think the Hogs have a good chance. And I think that also is about a 50-50, depending on what kind of Lumberjacks game you get. Now, again, the Lumberjacks are sitting at 4-9, cannot have a winning record this year, so they're really down in morale. But I will take the Hogs. But even with the Hogs finishing at 2-2 in this scenario, I don't think 9-8 is going to get them into the playoffs.
Yeah, so unless they're able to somehow split and beat CT, which is possible. They could be 3-1. I think they could potentially be 3-1 out of these last 4 games to be 10-7 on the season. But I do feel more so of a 9-8 finish for the Hawks. So that's it for them. Let's get over to the Cougars, man. What a flipper turnaround it's been for their season. Things started out a little rough. They started out good. They was 2-0. Then they lost 2 games back to there. Then I think they won 2 and then lost 2 again, something crazy like that. So it was like 2-2, 2-2, and then they just hit a spurt where
On 4 in a row.
the guys started clicking. We're starting to see better play from Dylan Lewis. You started to see. Well, I think a big addition, of course, was a trade with the Crusaders. Getting um, Grooms added to that defense really helped out a lot as well. And just the development of the defensive line in itself. Um, I seen the rookie of the year from last season, Austin Sanders, is just showing to be one of the top dogs as a young guy coming in. He's forcing a lot of pressure. He's constantly making plays. I mean, he just won Defensive Player of the Week after forcing like 2 fumbles. He recovered one. He had a touchdown again. I think like 4 sacks. Dude he's been killing it throughout his career here in the RFL, like he was doing at Oklahoma. And they're just really clicking right now. So they have a rematch game against the Pioneers, who defeated them earlier in the season. And then they have the Snowhawks. Instead of going through each individual game, I'll just read them off, and then you just tell me what you think out of these last 4, what their record would be. But yeah, then they got the Snowhawks, which we just know is a stacked team. If Gidley's on, then that's when you got to worry. And then you got the Bisons, the hot Bisons. Their last 2 games are on the road. That's going to be a good game to watch. See how they fare against interim coach Mack right now, and who's been doing a great job. And then they finish against the Huskies, the top team in the division, and it almost seems like we have this game at the end of the season all the time between these two, and it's legendary. And the Huskies already beat them earlier this season, but the Cougars now are the hot team and looking to take this division away from the Huskies. So looking at those last 4 games for the Cougars, do you think that they can take this division away from the Huskies with what they have left?
I mean, I do, especially after seeing the Huskies last game and the Cougars last game. Now, I know their opponents are completely different tiers and calibers from each other. The Seahawks and Elks are not the same team.
Mhm.
But for the Huskies to blow a 13-0 lead in the fourth, and then for the Cougars to pour on 50 plus on the Elks, just shows which teams are clicking right now. And I think the Cougars realistically should beat the Pioneers, but I think in their position, it's a must beat the Pioneers.
Yeah.
You know, they're the better team. They should win, but they must. And then I think in their last three, they go 2-1. I'm not sure. Just those are three really hard opponents in a row,
Yeah.
going from the Snowhawks to the Bisons to the Huskies. So I think they finished 3-1, and then one of those last three would be an L. For the Snowhawks, or not the Snowhawks, the Cougars' best case scenario, if they do lose one, would be losing to the Snowhawks.
Yeah.
Because if the Cougars do that, if they beat the three ARC opponents, they beat the Pioneers, the Bisons, and the Huskies, doesn't matter what the rest of the ARC does, they'll be the 1 seed.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling um they're just really hot right now, man. And from that, I feel a 3-1 coming too. I feel like they lose one of those games. I think they get their get back against the Huskies and the Pioneers. Um, and maybe something happens with the Snowhawks or the Bisons. I feel like one of those teams somehow is going to get the best of them somewhere. But I also wouldn't be shocked if somehow they went out. Now I think if they went out, that's going to probably be one of the most scariest teams going into the playoffs that you don't want to face, especially if they do it in good fashion.
If they win out, that's an 8-game winning streak, and that gives them the 1 seed, so they have a bye. They'll automatically be in the divisional round.
Yeah, so as we see Rob in the chat right now, yeah, if you can pull that off, man, Cougars haven't been in the playoffs I think since season 7 or 6, one of those. I think it was 7. So it's been a long time. 2 dreadful losing seasons. He finally got one of the better drafts in the year that came up. We knew this draft class was going to be one of the biggest draft class ever in RFL history, and almost all the rookies that were early or it's taken even in later rounds are turning out to be dogs. And Rob landed a lot of big guys. Got a big guy on defense as I talk about with Grooms, and so 3-1. I'm just going to claim as well, and so a 12-5 record we're predicting for the Cougars. Can the Huskies go 12-5 with what they have left? I think it's very much possible. They got the 2 games against the Hogs, which honestly, even though I think that there's going to be a split, I have a feeling like they're going to win both too. Like I think that can happen. That it should based off of the talent the Huskies got. But if we don't get the offensive consistency from Calvin Poole and the offense, that's going to be the biggest problem. The Black Knights have kind of been on a down skid. I think that they should be able to defeat them as well. And then they got that, of course, big rivalry game for the division, you might as well say, against the Cougars. So it's a much easier final 4 games for the division for the Toronto Huskies than it is for the Chicago Cougars. So that works in their favor. But the thing is, they have to deliver, which is something in their 4 losses they haven't done, which you wanted to see the offense too. So it's really going to come down to the offense. What do you think the Huskies? How do you think the Huskies finished their last 4 games?
Man, I'm kind of right there with you. I think they're at 2-2 or 3-1. I do think the Cougars win week 18, and then they split the Hogs, and they should beat the Black Knights. I think it's going to come down to whether they sweep the Hogs or whether they split, whether they sweep them or split them.
So we're predicting either a 12-5 or a 11-6 finish for the Hogs. With that too, I mean, let's say if they both finish 12, yeah, for the Huskies, my bad. So if they both finish same record and the Cougars do win that last game, because we already know if the Huskies win that
Cougars win
last
the
game,
division.
then boom, then the Cougars would lead the division.
The You're saying if so basically the Huskies win the next three, but then lose week 18, and then for the Cougars they lose either the Snowhawks or Bisons.
Yeah, let's just say this scenario like this, right? Um, Hogs win their three, and they only lose against the Cougars, and the Cougars find a way to win their three as well. So the record's still the same, and they split. Yeah, they would have to lose. They would have to lose one. So let's just say Cougars go 2-2, 2-1, and then they go up against the Huskies. They beat the Huskies, and then now they're sitting at let's see, that
So
12,
they're both
12 and
5.
5 together. Who leads that at that point? Who do you think will lead that if you don't know mathematically already?
Well, so at that point, if that happens, they're both 4-2 in the division. So it comes down to interconference ARC play. So
Mhm.
let's see the Cougars at that point. So that's why it's hard to know exactly because you can see the Huskies have all ARC teams left. The Cougars have one NRC team left. So right now, Pisons, Pioneers, so 1-2, 1-2. So as of right now, the Huskies would win that.
Okay, so there's more incentive right there for Coach Roby, man. That final game of the season is must, must for the Cougars, man. So that's going to be a great division to watch this final month of the season, man. So we've gone through that. That's already just one out of the 8 divisions that we've gone through in terms of the playoff race. We'll get to the playoff picture. We just want to go through, the guys who've got a realistic shot of winning the division potentially. And then we go into the ARC South, which is crazy. You look back, the Sentinels and the Voyagers were the last two teams predicted to even be in this division, right? The Dreadnoughts once again for another year has disappointed. And then the Armadillos have overly disappointed in terms of how much they fell off from the year prior. So, I mean, those teams aren't even in the discussion right now. So we're not going to talk more about that. We'll have more discussion on that stuff after we go through this. But 8-5, but the Sentinels have swept the Voyagers, right? And they've done so convincingly that last game, which was this past week, winning 30-17. I know that the game before was really close, and the Sentinels were just able to edge them out. But going to the Voyagers, who were on top of this division, looked like they had a clear run of it as well, and are now faced with these last 4 games. They've got the Tigers, who were finally able to break their 10-game losing streak. Well, just about, if you don't include the tie. Then you have them going up against the Bulldogs, who've been struggling. They've disappointed this season as well. You got the Desperados, which is a tough team right now, 8-5. They've been rolling. Marquise Washington has been on fire. And then you got the Dreadnoughts, who's disappointed there in the ARC South for another year, just not living up to expectations or making the plays. Um, where do you think they finished those last 4 games?
For the Voyagers, man, that's really hard because that's the last time we had this podcast and we talked about the Voyagers. I said the big issue, and Baker knew when we talked about it, is that in week 8, when they were 7-1, they'd only at that point in time, it only played 2 teams with a winning record. It went 1-1 with those 2 teams. Well, then they get to the Black Knights, the Huskies, the Sentinels twice, and now when they played against teams with winning records, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're 3-5 against teams with winning records. So you can start seeing the talent discrepancy between for the Voyagers when they start playing these really higher end teams. So when I look at this, like I think they should beat the Tigers. The Dreadnoughts in Week 18. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Owen Jack and Matt Jones get benched and they play. I think they have the rookie out of Syracuse, Evan
Um,
Clements. If he starts getting some playing time, so he should beat the Dreadnoughts. But I don't think I could take them over the Bulldogs or Desperados right now. And I think they finish 2-2 and go 10-7.
Pretty interesting. I would say 2-2 at best. I feel like there's also a scenario where they go one
They
and
lose
three.
all.
Uh, I feel like they're going to edge out one of these. I don't know. I just don't feel like the Dreadnoughts have that shot of defeating the Voyagers. So
See,
that's an automatic run for
Tigers.
me. I wouldn't sleep on the Tigers mainly because yeah, it's been extremely rough season for him, but you can never overlook a talented roster, you know.
Yeah.
And with that, they just got a win. It's been a long time coming. Who knows what happens after that? You know, we've seen a lot of teams at the midway, better earlier points in the season where it mattered most, flip their season around. And that's something with a talented team like the Tigers that could happen. Technically, I'd say they're a better team on paper than the Voyagers are. So when you're looking at that, um, there's a good chance, especially with well, they do have the home field advantage, but there's a good chance that the Tigers could come up with an upset there. I'm really wishy-washy on the Bulldogs, man. They just have Coach Bartman just have not been able to figure anything out really for that offense to get any type of consistency. You know, he was trying to stay with uh, Gaddy, and things weren't working out. He tried Lee, that didn't work out, and he said, you know what, Gaddy, go back in there. Goes back in there, and they're still struggling, you know, offensively. So it's like they have a talented roster, and they can't figure things out either. But again, Tigers talented roster, Bulldogs talented roster. Desperados are on fire right now. They're 5. I think they're 6-0 right now. Their last 6 games.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
they're on a 6 game win
a
streak ever since their
six-game
bye
win
week. They
streak.
haven't lost for a bye.
This is crazy. Those guys were 2-5, I think, at one point, and they've
Yep,
just
two and
been
five.
killing. So that's a team you just Marquise Washington and Tavion Hall alone is going to always give you fits. And then I think people kind of underrate that Desperados defense. Desperados have always kind of been known for their defense when you're looking at them, not looking good on paper, but somehow you don't score. You know, somehow you don't get enough on the
Yeah.
board to beat them, and then Marquise Washington and the offense somehow ends up putting up more points than you, and that's how you lose those games. But yeah, uh, I'm gonna say 2-2 at best as well. We get a look at the Sentinels. So I guess if we go back to that 2-2 with a that'll be a 10-7 record.
Seven.
They got a little bit of a shot there to still make the playoffs. You know, just a wild card type of deal. But let's see how that compares against the Sentinels, right? So the Sentinels, uh, all their last 4 games are on the road. So
Mm,
that's going to be something interesting to see. They're going up against the Elks, who currently been on, I think they're like on a 3 game losing streak. This was a team that
two.
kind of had 2 game losing streak. They were on a nice little streak to take the NRC West for a minute, and then they just started falling off. A Bulls team who's, man, I thought they, after those key injuries of those players that they lost, I didn't think they were going to be able to keep up any type of momentum like they had early in the season. But they actually almost look like they got better after they lost their key players, which is crazy. And then you have the Bulldogs. We've already talked about them and their struggles on offense, and the Tigers. So one thing about the Sentinels for me is this is a team that I've seen beat some really good teams this year. So this is a team that I wouldn't sleep on at all. I got them beating. I think they beat the Elks, man. I don't know why
They
I
beat
feel
yeah.
like the Bulls get it done though. The Bulls have been on a whole different type of level of play for whatever reason. Nick is really finding out some good game plans, man. He's doing his thing. As much as we bash him on certain things, it looks like dude knows what he's doing with his team right now, and he knocks those game plans out like soon as advance just about comes on is done. So he's doing something. He's getting it done out the way, just and he's winning right now. And then the Bulldogs, think that could be up in the air. What type of offense you gonna get? And then the Tigers, what do you think he finishes out those last 4 games?
I think they're looking at a 3-1 or 2-2 as well. I think they lose one of the Bulls or Bulldogs, and then can lose another one, maybe to the Tigers, maybe to both the Bulls and Bulldogs. But I do think they should beat the Elks. I'm sure you have them favored, and then they go 1-2 or 2-1 in those last three. But if
I
that
got a
happens,
feeling.
if both teams
Mm,
finish 10-7, the Sentinels win the division. So
yeah. So I'm leaning towards the Sentinels to win the division. I have a feeling like a 2-2 record. I don't know why I feel
yeah,
like they might drop something else. I do feel like the Bulls get them though. I just have a feeling on that. Uh, those last 3 games, anything can happen, to be honest. So,
yeah,
but I think they win at least one of those. Uh, but 3-2, 3-1, or 2-2 is definitely. But I'm feeling more of a 2-2 for the team. But I think this is the division for the Orlando Sentinels. And just to talk about scenarios, when you're supposed to hold some of this towards the end, like it's just crazy talking about this team and how they were having so many behind the scenes issues, and now look at where they are. It's like it's crazy. You know, they've done a real turnaround. They fought against adversity this season big time, and you know, we're seeing it's crazy the storylines that's actually coming out of Orlando. You got a random receiver, Chris Estrada, who just comes out of nowhere. It was about to be a
He's
thousand
like
yard receiver.
10 in yards right now.
Yeah, and he's not even like a high overall wide receiver at all. He literally just came out of nowhere, like a practice squad dude that just came up and said, "Hey, can I play? Hey, we'll try you out." Dude balled and said, "All right, let's keep him in there." And he's just been eating. You know. Then you got ECJ with Elijah Carter Jr. He was dude that was getting roasted all beginning of the year when he got drafted, number 10 overall to the Sentinels, and we're like, "Yo, why would you go get him when there was other quarters that people knew overall wise was going to be higher than him?" But you know, Coach Tor said, "Hey, I want my guy. Stay with this guy." And it paid off because I'm not gonna lie, he's having a phenomenal rookie season, man. Phenomenal rookie season. He's been great in coverage. He's a big hitter. He's been knocking dudes on their butt, playing like a safety. He's definitely one of the better performing rookie corners this year, this season for sure.
Got
Um,
his first interception this last week against the
yeah,
Voyagers,
pick six. Yep.
the house.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be honest. I mean, that just the storylines and adversity these guys are facing. I mean, this is they got to be proud of the season that they're having right now. I just wanted to say that before we moved on to the East. But and shout out to the Sentinels, and we'll see what Baker can do, man. Can he try to scratch and claw and fight to get this division back and win itself after having a 7-10 season from
Mhm.
last year? So it's still a good bounce back for him. And then we get a look at the East. This was the most competitive division last year, and it's looking like again one of the most competitive divisions this year. All four teams have a shot. Right, the Bulls have definitely been riding right now. They're 8-5. We talked about the Celtic Tigers winning their last 6 games, 6-0 after a 1-6 start, and then we have two 6-7 teams in both the London teams and the Black Knights, excuse me, and the Bulldogs. So just starting with the Bulldogs, we kind of went through with their scenario in a sense because we talked about well, we didn't talk about their upcoming game against the Bulls because we just got there. So we could talk about that. We already went kind of over the Voyagers game, the Sentinels too. We did not talk about the Armadillo. So I guess looking at their 4 games here, where do you think they finish, man? You're going up against a
I
really
think
tough Bulls team that's beat some
realistically,
teams.
I think realistically, just looking at this, the Bulldogs, even though they're 6-7, are 4-1 in the division. So they have been killing their division. I think there's a real possibility that these last 4 weeks, the Bulldogs find something that click and they win out and they go 10-7.
Okay. I'm feeling
Maybe 3-1, but I think there's
yeah,
a
I'm
real
feeling
chance.
3-1. Like but honestly, the only 2 games that kind of scares me with them, well, it's really the first three, right?
Those three, yeah.
Yeah, because the Bulls, they're playing on another level right now. You know, they're playing really good. Voyagers, you can never sleep on Baker, and then the Sentinels have been hot too. So,
Mhm.
but I feel like they definitely can beat at least 2 of those teams. Um,
I think
and
it
they should with the
it
talent.
really comes down to like what we've been saying all season is that if they can just figure out the offense,
Mm-hmm.
there's no reason this team should basically ever lose. And he just hasn't done that yet. But it's been 14 weeks. If he's got something in his back pocket, Bartman, now's the time to do it.
Usually at this point in the season, you don't figure that out.
Yeah.
And that's where it's just like this is going to be a lingering issue that I just know is going to happen because you go this long, you try to figure things out. I know he's been in the lab trying to figure out how to get things clicking. He switched quarterbacks, he's done all kinds of things, and it's just not working. And sometimes that just happens. Sometimes it's just not your year. Guys aren't clicking on the side of a ball, and I think that's the big issue for him. So he's going to really need his defense to step up to win them these games for sure. And he's got the defense to do that, even with gone for the rest of the season, JT, but yeah, I'm picturing a 3-1, potentially 4-0 run here. Like I said, because they got the defense to kind of do that. So they can even finish 10-7 or 9-8. And if they do finish there, do you think that they make the playoffs?
Huskies and Cougars already at 9 wins. The Bison's at 9 wins. The Voyagers and Sentinels at 8 wins. That's already 5 teams that only need to go 1 or 2 more wins the last 4 to get to 10. And then you have the Hogs, the Celtic Tigers, the Bulldogs, the Bulls, the Aviators, and Miners. So there's 7 other teams that have 7 or more wins already. I just don't think. I think you're gonna have double-digit wins to get into the playoffs. So I think if they go 9-8, even though it would be a great turnaround at the end of the season, it's not going to be good enough. It's going to be too little, too late.
Yeah. Then we could go to the Black Knights, same record here. They go up against the Celtic Tigers for their rematch. It was a great game last time they played. The Celtic Tigers beat them 26-21. I remember that. And they're going up against a tough Huskies team. Even though they've been struggling on offense, I just don't feel like the Black Knights as a team right now this season, how they've been moving, has the firepower to, best the Huskies. The Huskies' skid on their losses mainly has come from them playing really good teams. And then you got the Bulls, who have been hot again in the division, and the Miners team you just can't sleep on because they still have good talent as well. This is a really rough final 4 games of the season for the Black Knights. I don't see them getting in the playoffs again, unfortunately. But where do you think they finish out of those 4 games?
And I'm looking at their schedule as a whole. And if you look at their losses are the Bulldogs twice, the Bulls, the Steamers, the Sentinels, Thunderbirds, and the Celtic Tigers.
Lost against all good teams.
And then you look at their wins, it's the Marshalls, Voyagers, Shamrocks, Armadillos, and Dreadnoughts. So they're beating all the teams they're supposed to, and then losing to all the teams they're supposed to.
Yeah, and there's a couple teams in there that kind of is that they did beat that is kind of exceeding expectations. So yeah, this is a lot.
So I'm looking at these Final Four, and I'm like, I'm thinking 1-3.
Yeah, I'm more so feeling 1-3 probably could get a 2-2. That's how I'm
Probably
feeling.
could get to and this is just with the way their season has been, especially if they lose the next 2 and the Miners are fighting. I could see Mari putting in some of their young guys and then just going 0-4. I feel like it depends on how these next 2 games go.
Yeah.
If they win both, I think we're looking at 3-1. If they lose both, I think they're looking at 0-4.
Yeah, so I'm looking at so either looking at a 7-10 to a 6-11 season, for these
Yeah.
guys. Um, and we go to the Celtic Tigers, man, who've been on fire. They bested the Black Knights before, and they get the home field advantage this time with it. Then they go up against the Hogs again, who I think they beat the first time. Then they play up against.
They're in different divisions. So they haven't played.
Oh, they haven't played. Oh, I don't know why I was talking about their rivalry. So I don't know why I'm thinking like they're in the same division. Literally, the whole division's laid out, and I'm not even paying attention to that. But yeah, yeah. So the Hogs, which again, big rivalry game for them. The Monarchs, who's just been on a down skid. That offensive line has really broken down for them this season and has been getting Schrader killed. I still, to this day, do not know how he's still surviving being sacked over 100 times this season, which is ridiculous. With a wear and tear heavy game. That I don't know how he's doing it. And then you got the tough Bulls, who the Bulls beat the Celtic Tigers in the last game. So this is an opportunity to get revenge and possibly claw on top of the division. When you're looking at that final 4 game stretch for the Celtic Tigers, how do you think they finish?
And this is Madden, and we've seen how Madden this year has been wonky, wishy-washy. Win by 50 one game, lose by 20 the next. If the Celtic Tigers keep playing like how they're playing, I could see them going 4-0, finishing on a 10-win streak and winning the division.
Yeah.
Is especially having the Black Knights and Monarchs in there.
Mm-hmm.
I know they played competitively last time, and then having the Hogs in there, if it's a rough Lane Kearney game, and especially the storyline of them starting 1-6 to winning the division.
Yeah, that would be crazy if they end up doing that, man.
So
Absolutely
I'm
crazy.
feeling 3-1 to 4-0.
Yeah, I feel like 3-1's more in a sense realistic. 4-0, I don't. I wouldn't
You,
be
you,
shocked.
you don't think they're going to get the 10-game win streak?
Uh, I feel like for their games, I mean, other than the Monarchs, these other games, you
Are
know,
gonna be competitive. Yeah.
gonna be competitive. But if you look at the Celtic Tigers, it's a team that went to the Relo Bowl last year. Look at their losses. How many of those games have they lost by many points other than the one against the Desperados, which I remember that being like 41-20? Other
Yeah.
than that, they've been in literally every single game. So this is the same team that could be 10-3 right now, one of the
Yep.
top teams. And so I think for sure 3-1, 3-1 or 4-0 finish for the Celtic Tigers, and they're getting hot at the perfect time of the season. And
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. Again, you go back to look at them. Just the East had a hard schedule this year. They had to play the NRC East. So like, you look at
yeah,
their losses, and it's the Steamers, Desperados, Marshalls, and Bulldogs,
yeah,
and then Bulls.
and all those games were
All six
close.
of those teams still fighting for a playoff spot.
And all those games, even against those tough teams, they were close, man. And of course, we get to the last team here, man. That's really been making shockwaves. The Brooklyn Bulls, man, very continuing to impress. Um, I did not think they were going to be able to beat a lot of the teams that they have in the last 4 to 5 weeks. Um, but they've been handling it. I mean, they were able to best the Steamers and the Marshalls these last couple of weeks, and the Marshalls were hot with interim coach Loso stepping in. So like to knock those two teams out right now at this point in the season, still got a little bit of ether left for the season, but you got the Bulldogs. Going to be tough because of just the talent, which we already went through that game on how we kind of feel about that. But we'll still can kind of go through it a little bit in detail of how we feel from the Bulls' perspective. Sentinels, again, another tough team, playoff team. They beat some really good teams this year. Then we talked about we have the Black Knights in here. We talked about that, and we talked about the Celtic Tigers, which Bulls beat them the last time. So is this is interesting, man. They got some tough games here, but they've played tougher competition in those tough games that I was talking about earlier. And so these are winnable games in a sense for them if they continue to go on a streak, but they will not be easy. How do you think they finish those last four?
I think they go 2-2, 3-1, but I really think the division is going to come down to Week 18 in that CT Bulls game.
That's going to be fire. The fact that those are the last games of the season, like Madden gods just knew, hey man, let's save the Bulls, Celtic Tigers, and the Cougars and Huskies for Week 18. Like those definitely got to be live game. We already got our live games picked out for Week 18 already. We got to figure out the other two.
I mean, you say that, but watch the Huskies lose the next three, and now the game doesn't matter.
Man, it's weird. Yeah, that would be weird. But the Huskies are so up though. Like, well, that would
Yeah,
suck.
yeah,
But you would hate to see that. But the way they've been playing, like yeah, they're playing tough teams, but at the same time, it's like, yo, y'all better figure something out because it's
yeah.
not looking good, right?
Playoffs right
Uh,
around the corner.
yeah. So I'm feeling with the Bulls, man. I kind of agree with you, man. I'm feeling though. I'm more so feeling like a 2-2, 3-1 finish. There's something
Yeah,
about this team, man. They're just clicking, even with Devin Wade playing abysmal like right now. I think he's got only 15 touchdown passes, 12 picks. So he's been struggling, but it's the defense of the Bulls have been so good, even with their star guys missing, that it gives them a good shot, man. And then we've seen great play out of David Jones and the offense and everything else. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how it goes. Who do you think out of these four though wins the East? I think you said you were going with the Celtic
it's gonna
Tigers,
be
right?
it's gonna be the Bulls or CT.
Yeah, definitely Bulls or CT in my opinion. If I had to choose just based off of the schedule left, they got a game up. I like the way they're playing. Both teams are playing good, but I feel like the Bulls are going to edge it out. I don't know why. Just feel like the Bulls got the East. And then the
And just so
final, uh,
oh my bad. But just so guys know, you can go to the next division. But
okay,
just so the guys know, in the chat, this is only our second year where we have all 32 teams in one file, and the best record since we've done that is 12-5. That was the Snowhawks last year.
there was multiple
So
12-5 teams.
who was the Snowhawks? Were the only team in the
Celtic
NRC.
Tigers went
The
12 and
Coach Tigers.
5. I think there was literally 5 teams that went 12-5 that year.
5 teams that won last
Yeah,
year.
we could check through because I have it in the Discord. It was either 4 or 5 teams literally that went 12-5. That's how
And we had a
competitive.
bunch of 10-7 teams too.
Yeah. They see RFL seasons, season 9. So we had 4, 12, and 5 teams. It was the Snowhawks, Celtic Tigers, Desperados, and the Armadillos.
Yep, 4, 12,
And
and 5
and
teams.
3, 11, and 6 teams, which was the Bulls, Red Dragons, and Aviators. So
And how many 10 and 7 teams do we
10
have?
and 7 teams, we had 5. We had
So
the
yeah, that's
Lumberjacks, Diablos, Black Knights, Miners, and Hogs.
so like the
So
top 15 teams were all within 2 games of each other.
crazy. And it's competitive again, man. That's just how competitive this league is, bro. And we got high competitive teams. Like it's not like these teams, we don't have a single team that's lower than an 83 or 84 now at this point. Like that's a lot of talent, you know.
Yeah.
Uh so yeah, league's been crazy. And then we get a look at the ARC West. And man, it's been a battle, but man, how about the Bisons, man? Bisons starting out rough, and now they are the number one team in the conference at a 9-4 record, even climbing and getting over the Huskies. But starting with the St. Louis Aviators, I've been very impressed. I mean, I expected KC Robinson to mesh with this team just based off of the talent, the type of player he was, and what he had going into, his rookie season. But he's exceeded expectations. I didn't think this guy was going to rush for over 1,000 yards, well over it, be the first rookie in RFL history to do it. The next closest was Geno Gannon, who had 993 with the Cougars way back in season 6. And the run game to still be as powerful as it is. This is the number one rushing offense in the league. But of course, again, you're dealing with a rookie. The defense can be good at times, but it's not something like exceptional within the league. In their last 4 games, I mean, they already lost a game against the Bisons. Very close game, by the way. It looked like for a second they had it. They kind of scored too fast, though, and the Bisons were able to drive with under a minute left in the game, I think it was, to win the game 19-17. So they got them again. Then they got the Miners, which was another division game where that was very close. They lost to the Miners 23-20. So it's crazy to think right now sitting at 7-6, right? And you're looking at those teams, you're like, oh man, those are some tough teams. I don't know if the Aviators got it. They were in both of those games, literally losing by 2 and 3 points. They could win both of those games too. So the Aviators got a good shot still in the West. The Lumberjacks too has been on a downward spiral, and then you got the Pioneers too, who's been on a downward spiral at 5-8. So when I'm looking at this, I still feel like they either go 2-2 or 3-1. What
Yeah,
do you
I'm
feel?
I'm feeling more 2 and 2. And I think I just think the Aviators about to have a coming back down to earth moment. Not saying that they're going to go and get blown out. I think there's a good chance they could upset the Miners with the way the Miners have been playing recently, a very wishy-washy throughout the season. Or we all expected the Miners to just outright win the division this year.
Yeah,
I think they have a chance to do that, but I still think that their team deficiencies as a whole still aren't quite there yet.
yeah.
So I'm feeling more of a 2 and 2. Going 1-1 or 0-2 in those first 2 games, and then going 1-1 or 2-0 in the last 2.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling more 2-2 as well. I do know they was close in those division games as I spoke about. But I do also feel like again their talent wise, the roster, they are outmatched. And we'll see if the Aviators can keep it close like they've been doing all season. Again, but that is hard to do. But we'll see. So we're expecting them to finish with a winning record at least this season at nine
Yeah,
and eight at the
which is
very least.
huge for the Aviators and where everyone thought they were going to be.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a team lost, a quarterback who he wasn't the best quarterback, a veteran quarterback. He's won a Reload Bowl before for having to step in way back in season 3 with Kyle Bain. But no one, I don't think, even myself, even though I knew KC was going to be a good fit, I did not expect them to have this type of season.
Yeah,
And they
I didn't
they
think we'd be
definitely keep it
talking about
competitive.
the Aviators making the playoffs in Week 15.
Yeah, they even shocked us last season with Kyle Bain. We said the same thing about him last year, and they made the playoffs with 11-6 record. So, this is a team that's You know, then they got a younger quarterback now. It's going to be interesting to watch moving forward. But then we get into the Miners. We talked about them being wishy-washy this season. This is their last 4 games. They got the Explorers, who another team. We haven't gotten to the NRC side yet, but the Explorers have definitely been a wishy-washy team as well. Mainly because, well, even before the trade, they kind of was going down. But after they traded away Rashad Chamberlain, which they really had no choice, they just couldn't afford him, and money was becoming a problem. The defense definitely, you could tell a difference in the defense. And the rookies, Tayshawn Wiggins and Brian Robinson had to step up. And they've actually been doing pretty good. We saw Brian Robinson get a pick six, I think, this past week. So that was awesome. And
What you know we're talking about the Bisons right now, right?
no, we're talking about the Miners.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm sitting there like, why are we
Nah,
talking about the
yeah.
Explorers?
Talk about the Explorers because
My
we're on the Miners.
bad,
Yeah,
my bad. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. You're
So
good.
yeah, I was about to say like what, but yeah,
I'm
yeah. The
like, where
Explorers.
did the Explorers come from?
Yeah. So the Explorers, man, that's going to be a really good game because they're kind of like the same type of team in a sense right now. Even though the Explorers got a better record, their defense is kind of being, in question. Miners have had a pretty good defense too, but their offense has been in question. So we're going to see two questionable sides of the ball go up against each other, and two strengths on each side of the ball go up against each other. So I think that Miners Explorers game is going to be very good. Then you got the Aviators. We already kind of talked about that, where we would favor the Miners in that one, just off the talent. Then you got the Red Dragons, who've just been very underperforming in the ARC West, which is why they're not even in the discussion here in this division race. And they finished, well, not finished, but they're currently 3-9, right? I think it's 3-9 or 3-10, one of those. So they're not faring well. And the
Red
Black,
Dragons.
yeah, 3-10. And then they're going up against the Black Knights, which, is a team you don't know what you're going to get. It's talent there, but again, kind of favorite there. So out of those four, how do you think they finish?
All I gotta say is, Dunn, Bain, Miles. If you need this to be some bulletin board material, you can do that. I think they finished 1-3.
Oh, wow.
The Red Dragons beat the Miners last time. I think the
Forgot about
Explorers
that.
are going to be. I think the Explorers are going to be favored, and I think the Aviators and Black Knights are going to be a dogfight.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably 2-2 realistically, but I
Mhm.
think they're closer to 1-3 than they are 3-1.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling 2-2 as well. They should get the Red Dragons, man, but I literally forgot. I forgot that they
They did
did
last
play. They lost to them, man, which is crazy. So, yeah, 2-2, I'd say. So, a 9-8 record, I think, and this might be the end of the playoff streak for Coach Dunn. And I
Was
guess,
the end of his no, the Aviators won the division last time. So it's like, 'cause he had won the division like 3 years in a row or something.
yeah, he won it 3 years in a row before, but he still made the playoffs for a fourth year
Yeah.
afterwards. So, like, he's been on a playoff streak. He wasn't able to win his first game until last year, and that was against the Armadillos, a team that never made it to the playoffs before and couldn't win their first game. So, that was crazy. But yeah, this we could get into the controversy a little bit too about the team. This is what the podcast is about. Let's talk about before we go on to the Bisons, like what went on after that trade. We've been seeing banter and a little bit and stuff going on in the Discord. um, they traded away user offensive lineman EA Eric Ashley, and you look at it and everybody was shocked because they're just like, man, who trades away a user offensive lineman? You know, uh, and at the time just like, okay, well, maybe he felt like, I was saying last podcast, maybe he felt like there was just certain things about his player that he could go get something better and move on from. But I did not think it was going to affect the locker room as much as it did. you know uh you don't want to speak on someone's situation, or the locker room, because you're not in there. But at the same time, I think the players, the guys who were a part of that, have made it clear. I saw Anthony Fry. He showed up to the game still. I saw he left the server. He's not even in the server anymore.
Same thing with
But
Steve Washington left.
yeah, Steve Washington left, and it looked like that move had such an impact on this team. And that's tough to see, a team that, man, were so close knit. And the Miners we're the brand of those guys merging, And
Mhm.
as much as some people may not like some of the way they went about things, or how confident they were about their team and certain things, that's always a great thing to see, because it just brings personality to the team. It brings a culture to a team, and so it just seems like off of one move of a user, it has destroyed the in a sense,
Locker
not
room.
destroyed, but it's just definitely destroyed the image. It's hurt the brand. And you wonder what Coach Dunn does. You know what I mean? We haven't seen a minors live. We don't know who's still active in the Discord, who's doing what. And so like it's definitely had its impact on this team big time. And you go back and I've seen some guys, this is what we talk about is you go back and you look at his situation, even with when he was talking about the Cougars, man, and how
Last
their
year.
locker, yeah, it's crazy. You talk about the Cougars and their situation, and you make one move and look at this, So it's like, I think that he's kind of got an idea with that situation and what's happening to them. Like, oh man, it's not just easy like that. When you're dealing with other personalities and stuff like that, it's a lot that comes with it, And something that we thought was very, very close and tightly bonded just
Well,
just
yeah,
kind of disbanded, man. It was crazy to see that.
because I think it was close, you know. But I also think since all those guys have been there, since Killian Bain's been there, Anthony Fry, Connor Jameson, Ajon Grant, Steve Washington, Miles McCain, Grant Culpepper when he was active, I'm probably forgetting some other people.
That's still a lot of
Brian
users though.
O'Connor's,
Yeah.
yeah, Brian O'Connor is there. Um, I think this is the first real time the Miners ever faced like hardship.
Yeah.
Because obviously last season they started out rough. I think they started like 2-5 last season
Yeah.
and then fixed it
Mm.
midseason, made the playoffs. You know, but this is the first time, which people don't want to talk about. They faced actual hardship. Coach Dunn was forced to make a decision. He has to pay Killian Bain. He has to pay Miles McCain next year. He's already the third most expensive roster in the league. Doesn't want to pay EA, so he trades them, and then the locker room explodes because they're having a rough season. It looks like they're on the outside looking in, and then you trade away a user offensive lineman. And I think
Yeah.
that was just a snapping point for some people in the locker room, which I know Dunn wasn't expecting to happen.
Yeah.
But
And it's
it's just
not
it's
like the
they
no,
face
go ahead.
something.
Mm. Yeah, it's not like the whole team is just killed, because I still feel like they got some
Yeah,
users still, a decent amount of users still in that locker room. It's just the main guys that we were so used to knowing, have
yeah.
either gone on or have just been quiet, with everything. I haven't heard anything from Killian in a minute. I still feel like he's still there though. We already know what's going on. Fry's out of there. Washington's out of there. God knows who else is out of there. I haven't seen anything from Brian O'Connor. I think he just upgraded or something like that. So I think he's good. He's a rookie, so I mean, that really doesn't bother him. I don't think too much. He just got there.
I think the Miners still had 3 or 4, maybe even 5 people upgrade this last period. Like they're still there, they're still around, but like
Yeah.
like you said, it's more so as like it's kind of tarnished their brand image and reputation of, hey guys, we're the kumbaya locker room of users.
Yeah. And so it would be real interesting. I know Dunn was talking about, he wish he could do a podcast. I would like to see it, just to, hear his perspective on how everything went, what went into the decision of trading away, EA. Was what you brought up about the money, the real situation. We would like to hear it, if it's possible. But again, if they don't, it's their locker room. It is what it is. The damage has been done, and I'm looking forward to see how Coach Dunn and the Miners move on from this. Uh, but yeah, we have that's it for the ARC, and we're going on to the NRC side of things. And when we look at the NRC, we start in the north, of course, going from north, south, east, west. How about the Barons, a team that started 0-4, finding themselves in a division race, while the other teams who are doing bad right now were kind of moving ahead of them early in the season with the Gunners and Lumberjacks, and now both of those teams are 4-9 right now. But the Barons 7-6 right now, so they have won 7 out of 9 of their last games.
Yep. Started 0-4.
Yeah, so after 0-4 start, so that's big. and you get a look at these last few games going up against the Red Dragons. We've got 3 of the 4 games on the road, so it's always tough. But the Red Dragons has been struggling. That's a good chance right there for them. Lumberjacks been struggling. Good chance for them. Elks struggling. Good chance for them. So I mean, you could realistically see on those first 3 games, 3 wins. And then you got the Condors, which you just never sleep on them. They just won a Reload Bowl. They have lost their last 2 of the 3 games, which is tough. But I think that's their biggest challenge left on the season is the Condors. But the Barons can go from finding themselves from 0-4 to 10-7 or 11-6 this season. There's a chance they could beat the Condors, but it really all comes down to I think the play of Jabri Jackson, which we have seen take a step down. We've seen them take a step down uh, in his play from his MVP days. Obviously, that's going to happen when the guy's been in the league so long and now he's 34. But can he lead them? This defense has been immaculate. The draft class they got has made a huge impact, man. Huge impact. So that's going to be something interesting to look at. And before I ask you about how do you think they finished? I'm looking in the chat just to make it known. He got from Coach Dunn here. He says 11 active users. Not everyone going to be happy. That's fine. Also remember, not everyone can get paid. So I guess that money situation was definitely a part of the situation. Again, Dunn, I would like to see a minors live from you, bro, and just to hear your side of things and your thoughts on the whole situation, how you plan to move forward.
Oh,
But yeah. Mm.
Max, right. We didn't talk about the Bisons at all in the ARC South
Oh, we
League.
didn't. Wow. Okay. Well, yeah. Let's go back. Then we'll go back to the Barons, so we don't have to talk about. So yeah, how the heck did we skip the hottest team in the ARC right now? Um, but yeah, just we did you dirty, Mac. My bad. But speaking of Mac, man, I don't know if guys, some guys behind the scenes who don't know, who was not part of the Discord too, don't know about our interim coaches that's getting kind of like a trial year this year that had to help me out because I've been in school. This is a great opportunity. I provided guys to show what they could do at the coaching level. And he was already in a bit of a interim program anyway from last year, but this is the most he's been able to have his hands on the team because he's been able to make the game plans and everything for the Bisons. And I think that Mac, again, just to put out there, you've done a great job with this team. I would love to see you as the head coach of this team moving forward, and I hope we can make that happen, man. So I mean, keep doing your thing. We already knew the impact that this draft class was going to have with the Bisons, man. I remember, us talking even a couple years ago when, you didn't have no users, nobody in the team like that. And you were just always focused on, man, how can we improve? What was it going to take for us to take the next step for this team? You've been there every step of the way since the beginning of your career. And, man, I remember going to you and I was just like, hey, man, I got a deal where we could get some trades, bro. Like we could get a lot of picks that I think is gonna flip this team. And as soon as I told you about it, Matt was like, "Yeah, bro, do that," because he's been trying to get users and that type of influx on the team for a minute, but it's just that opportunity never came, you know. And so when that opportunity finally came and we were able to get those picks, and dude was already talking off rip like, "Yo, Bo, I want this." I'm like, hey man, it wasn't like he was just a random guy who wasn't paying attention to the league and just calling out random names just because they were known. It's just like he actually knew the players and good, and it was kind of almost an alignment in the thought process on the players. I kind of thought that would be beneficial to the team, and man, to be able to get him and Ethan Marks too, like we was hype about Ethan Marks getting him on the team. It is awesome to see like his perseverance throughout all that time to finally get those guys on the team, get a chance to coach them, be successful, turn the season around. Like we knew that they were going to be better. I've seen a lot of guys talk about, I don't think that the Bisons are playoff ready. These guys look like they're about to win the West, and they are the hottest team right now in the ARC. And so, just like I talked about the Orlando Sentinels and how proud they should be about their season, I think it's the same thing we should be saying about OKC and the Bisons and Mac and all those guys over there. And I'm just excited to see how this season finished for them. They haven't been to the playoffs since the very first season of the league, so it's been a
Yeah,
long
man.
time coming.
I have to say about that is you're welcome for all the picks, Mac.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shout out to Forbes too. He had a little bit of an assist with that, man. It definitely helped out. But yeah, their last 4 games. Let's talk about it. Beat the Aviators before, got a chance to beat them again. It was a tough game. We know that's going to be a dogfight. Then we have the Red Dragons. Again, been struggling. I think the Bisons beat them last game. I can't remember. I think they
The
beat them.
Bisons lost to the Red Dragons last
Lost to the
time.
Red Dragons. Okay. Red Dragons surprisingly
Oh, no,
beating
they
their.
beat them.
Okay. I
I'm
was about
looking
to
at
say.
they
Yeah.
beat the Red Dragons.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So beat them before. And I know division games are tough, but Red Dragons, I don't know. The Bison's been hot. And then you got the Cougars, a hot team. I'm glad those teams are facing each other. You got 2 teams on the rise going to have to go head to head and clash. That's going to be awesome to see that matchup. And then you have the Gunners, who's just been struggling. We know they got offensive line problems. This is Bison. I think are they still the #1 defense in the league? They're probably, if not, they're
In terms
close.
of points or in terms of
The
yards?
yards. Yep, because yards is what they determine for in terms of #1 defense. But I do think that they are the #1 defense in the league. If not, they're definitely top 3. Uh, but yeah, how do you think they finished those last? I'm gonna say 3-1, man. 3-1 at the least, 4-0 potentially.
Team total defense, they're number one in terms of yards by 1 yard.
Yeah, so #1 defense technically. So that's
Yep.
what I mean. They've been killing, man. Uh, but yeah, I think they go 3-1, 4-0. More so 3-1, but 4-0 is there.
Yeah, I think the Gunners and Red Dragons should be gimme games. I think they're the more talented team than the Aviators. So yeah, man, I'm thinking 3-1 and then closer to 4-0 than they are 2-2.
Yeah, and then just to go back with what Mac was saying, just looking at the chat here, he says not about the picks, it's about getting the right guys, and that is key, definitely key, and I agree. The picks don't help. Definitely make it better though. Picks were definitely a good factor because I mean you wouldn't get the right guys without those. But at the end of the day, yes, we made a great improvement to the team by selecting the right guys. I mean, just getting Bo, the impact running back player that he is. I know it's been a rough season with injuries. Hopefully next year he can heal up a little better, and because I think he's out for the remainder of the regular season. But if they make the
Yep.
playoffs, which it looks like they're doing, hey, this guy should be able to play game 1. He might even be cool for a whole week. They could get a bye week, especially with this Final Four schedule. So the Bisons, man, they really got the ARC in the palm of their hand right now. To go from a team that hasn't been to the playoffs since season 1 to being the #1 seed 9 years later, that's crazy. But yeah. So that's it for the Bisons, man. Shout out to the Bisons. Shout out to the ARC covering that. Back to the NRC in the North. Already went through the Barons. How do you think that they finish with the Red Dragons, Lumberjacks, Elks, and Condors with a 7-6 record? Are they playoff bound? Something they haven't been since I think season 6.
See, playoff bound, they should beat the Red Dragons, and I think they're going to be favored in everything but the Condors. But I'm feeling a 2-2 record coming from the Barons right now. Like now Nico Quinn is having a defensive player of the year kind of season as a rookie. He's currently leading that award. Spoiler, but that's just a big part of their team. And like you said with Jabri, he just hasn't been playing up to MVP level, and I think it has more so to do if we just jump to the Explorers Final Four
Mm-hmm.
and how much easier it is than the Barons Final Four.
Yeah. So I mean,
And
just to mention it before you go into it, they got the Miners on the road in Sacramento. They got the Pioneers, Gunners, and Elks, which yeah, they should be favored. Defense is always kind of in the sense with the Explorers right now at this point. That gives you a question, but honestly, I think the Pioneers, Gunners should get that. Elks should get that too, honestly. But the Miners game, that's going to be a big one. I think if they clean the Miners this week, yeah, they're looking good.
yeah, so because like you just said, it sounds like you're also thinking the Barons 3-1, 4-0, or not the Barons, the Explorers 3-1, 3-1 or 4-0. And so then it doesn't matter what the Barons do, they can't take the division if that happens. And being at 7-6, the NRC is even more front loaded in terms of playoffs, whereas the top 6 seeds all have at least 8 wins right now.
Mm.
So I want to say, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a 4-way tie at 7-6 for just the 7 seed in the NRC right now.
Crazy,
So I'm
man.
not sure 2-2 is going to be good enough. I'm not even sure 3-1 is going to be good enough for the Barons if these other teams also win out. Now
Mm-hmm.
the Elks are one of those 7-6 teams, and they have to play the Barons and the Explorers, so that helps. But I think there's just, unless the Barons can win out, I think there might just be too much in their way to get into the playoffs this year.
Yeah, they had some heartbreaking losses, man, after they were going on that win streak too, man. I remember the Cougars game, they were in that, lost that to the Hail Mary throw down the field, a streak to Contavious Henderson. They were trying to kill Sean Dada after that game. And it was another game too they lost that was really close not too long ago as well. So I mean, they got those games, man. It would have been straight. One thing that's been killing them is this pitch play. Just again, I
Yeah,
talked about this earlier. Like it sucks to see, I never like going into the game in terms of blaming it because it can happen to anyone. So I'm not gonna
yeah.
blame the fact that, oh, even though, yeah, okay, yeah, it's clearly the reason they lost, but like I'm not gonna say, hey, they could have been. It don't matter because at the end of the day, it could happen to anybody, right? It could happen to anybody. But for them, they seem to be the only team, and they share a playbook with a good amount of teams in the league. But they keep calling this one fake fullback dive pitch play,
And it's just a
and
fumble.
it's a fumble every time. I don't know
I
if
remember
it's. I need to check. Cause is it supposed to
the
be?
other team I've seen that happened to was the Armadillos.
You know what I just thought about? I need to see how many players was on the field because I'm pretty sure that is a fullback fake dive play, but I just remembered I don't think I
There's no
saw
start.
a fullback on the play.
No.
So that's what's broken, and they have a fullback. So it's probably a fullback issue. So
Yeah,
and
but
that could be on just depth chart. I'll have to look into that. I need to see how many players was on the field on that play.
yeah, I've only ever seen that happen to them and the Armadillos this season.
Yeah, that was rough, man. To lose the games they did off of that, tough, man, tough. But yeah, so we're expecting the Explorers to go either 12-5 or 11-6. The Barons expected to go 9-8 or 10-7. Uh, well, actually, no, they could win out. So I think either 10-7 or 11-6. Kind of thinking that might happen. Let's go into the South. So this is your division. And
Mm-hmm.
this has been a hot division in terms of teams flipping the season around, getting things going, man. 2 8-5 teams and a 10-2-1 team, which is your team. Starting with the Thunderbirds, man. It's a pretty tough ending. The first two games, and then the last two should be something that they get. But the Marshals, Diablos, Crusaders, and Shamrocks. And I wouldn't even sleep on the Shamrocks too. They have a talented roster and they can shock you. So this is a little tough for Atlanta here. How do you think they finished their last 4 games?
I think they're looking at 3-1 to 2-2.
I can.
I think they do win week 17 and 18. They beat the Crusaders and Shamrocks, and then they either split 1-1 between me and the Marshals, or could lose both, depending on how those two teams perform.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling more so 2-2, but a 3-1 potentially. Um, I just what gets me with the Thunderbirds has just been the offensive inconsistency.
And that's
That's
always
the
been their issue.
and another thing that's kind of kills them. It's always been their issue, but something that's never been their issue that's become an issue for them this year has been their defense. This is a team
Hmm.
that's always been known for being a really good defensive team, but for whatever reason this year, they've got still good talent. They have not been able to consistently instill that same fear that they used to have in years prior. with the talent there. We know they kind of got shot there at the cornerback position. He had the regression of Morincola, ended up trading him off. They ended up getting in a new player, which I think's made an impact, made their defense better. So that's that. I think that's contributed to them, going on a nice little streak and winning and doing pretty good right now. But the offense still has been the inconsistent part. And so, but one thing I like though is those receivers are going to be something crazy. All of them 85 overall right now, and they're all young. And that's what this team was waiting on. They still got a little bit of issues up front in the offensive line, but if they can figure things out, if LC3 can, really get things going up there, and the line can do a little bit better for them, I could see them going 3-1. If not, 2-2 for sure. And then we get into the Dallas Desperados, 6-game win streak right now. They're going up against the Steamers. A little bit of smoke on this one. I can't wait to see it because, I expect the Steamers to win. But CP already know I'm about to get into. CP's like, he's going to be confident about his team regardless. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But the Steamers, they just lost their last 2 games, man. And this is not a team. I was telling CP, I'm like, yo, them Dallas Desperados, that's not a team to sleep on. They blew the Snowhawks out 41-7. And I know the Snowhawks have had their inconsistency at times, but you take away, you add 2 of those losses that they had, which was recently to a division rival, which was the Elks, and they only lost it because they were playing around too much. They played around too much this season. And they just lost last second, and the Elks got bold, went for a 2-point conversion, ended up winning by a point, type deal. But this Desperados team, Marquise Washington and Tavion Hall, are ridiculous. Marquise Washington, I think, leads the league in passing touchdowns right now. He's got 30. He's only thrown 3
Yeah,
picks.
at least the league.
Yeah, he is going. I know we've seen him do this since he's came in. This is not a dude, even with a bad line up front, to sleep on, because he could get that ball out so fast that it's almost as if the line don't even matter like that. Y'all are gonna have to get instant pressure on dude. Y'all got good cornerbacks and stuff, good defensive players, but guy always seems to find loopholes. So I'm going to be very interested to see, if Steamers can establish themselves and stop this 6-game hot streak that the Desperados are on. I'm expecting you guys to win, but if y'all lose the train, all I'm gonna say is I told you not to sleep on the Desperados, man. This team is freaking wicked. But then they got the Marshals after that, another tough game for them. Voyagers, tough game, and you guys, the Diablos. All of those games they can definitely lose. I honestly feel as though they could go more so 2-2 or 1-3. My opinion.
Yeah, I like how you just hyped them up. All this stuff, man.
Yeah,
That's what's so good.
yeah. I
They're,
still don't
they're in
got
the
them
league.
beating the Steamers, but like, yeah. I just feel like if the game ended up being close or they somehow pull off that upset, like it wouldn't shock me. That's all I'm saying. But yeah,
Yeah, I think this is the first one we've really got into, except maybe the Celtic Tigers, that just with their 4 games left, if you told me 1-3, I could see it. You told me 4-0, I could see it.
you
like,
can see four. I mean, yeah. I mean,
like,
I don't know you guys though. I know you gonna try to take the slack off your team. You ain't trying to get bolstered up.
no, I mean,
Trying to not
we
trying to
beat
add
them.
a
We beat them pretty handedly when we played them. We haven't played them since week 2.
yeah.
So like when we did play them, I think we beat them by like 20. So we're gonna be favored and we should win. We're the better team. But it wouldn't be shocked. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if you said, "Oh yeah, in week 18, the Desperados upset us to get into the playoffs."
Not only that, this is the last game of the season. You might not even be playing your guys. There's a chance.
So, it's
You
also
got a chance to clinch. So who knows? Um, but
I'm
yeah,
also right there with you with the I'm feeling 2-2. I think they beat the Voyagers, um, and so it just comes down to those other 3.
yeah. And then we get to you, man. Obviously, you were the favorite way back when we were doing some consistent podcasts to win the Reload Bowl this year, and 10-2-1 right now. I mean, living up to it. Yeah, a couple games where guys was just like, I mean, they almost lost that, but there's nothing. I feel like the most scariest thing is when you have a team like that, where they're blowing guys out, and then they're going through some games too, where they're like barely edging it out, because that shows that they're battle tested and it's hard to beat them. you know. And sometimes in the game, it's just like when you face a team like that, it's just hard to beat them. You can't win, you know. You've taken your few losses, and sometimes when you got a hot streak that's really good and you go to the playoffs, I almost feel just off of superstition, like I almost don't want that. Like if I was that
You
team, because
don't be too hot.
if you're too hot going in, it's almost like, bro, you won 10 games.
You
And
want like a 3 game win streak, not a
yeah,
seven
get
game.
like a 3 to 4 game win streak. You start going 5, 6, stuff like that, going into playoffs. It's like almost as if you're bound for a loss somewhere, especially with the competition level, you know? And so like you didn't lose too long ago. The Shamrocks were able to get y'all. Um and what's your streak now that you're on?
We're on a 3 game or 2 game win streak. We
Yeah,
beat the
two.
Monarchs, had a bye, then beat the Condors.
2 game win streak. And then you look at this schedule, right? You got the Dreadnoughts. I got you getting that. Thunderbirds. You guys handled them last time. I think that y'all beat them again with their inconsistency. Dillos. Ain't even question. Uh, better not lose that after I said that. But and then you got the Desperados, which again you haven't played them in a while. I would probably say that that's probably your hardest team. Even though the Thunderbirds did beat the Desperados, they still split. But yeah, I'm gonna get more into them too. Cause I got a top 10 power ranking too we were about to get into. But
Okay.
yeah, I think you guys win this division. I don't think there's no debate about it, man. The two teams are doing good, but they're still too far behind.
So before you move on, speaking of, this is actually the first time since we've started this podcast where we're an hour and a half in where we actually have a playoff clinching scenario
Oh, okay, yeah.
for for this week. So we're into week 15. Not a single team is clinched heading into the season. But the Diablos, myself, we have a couple of different ways to do it. So we clinch a wild card with a win. If we beat the Dreadnoughts, we're just in. We're in the playoffs. No matter what happens, I could lose the next 3, and I'm still in. Or we clinch the wild card if 3 of the 4 7-6 teams lose. So if the Barons, the Marshals, the Elks, and the Condors, if 3 of those 4 teams lose, we also clinch the division, or not the division, but a wild card spot.
All right, so yeah,
And then we could win the
Diablos, you win.
division this week. We win the division this week if we win and the other 2 teams lose. So if the Desperados lose to the Steamers, if the Thunderbirds lose to the Marshals, and we beat the Dreadnoughts, we'll win the division this week.
That's big, man. That's big right there. So all this can be closed by the time next week comes up, man. And then we get to the second to last division to go through, which is the NRC East. This is the Steamers and the Marshals who split each other this year. This has been budding into a nice little rivalry with these teams. And a good that they get it that they did get the split. If it wasn't for that, the Marshals wouldn't even be in here. It just pretty much, hey, the Steamers got this in the bag. But the Steamers have just been in a 2 game losing 2 game skid. But again, sometimes I feel like when you're a very good team, you lose those 2 games, you start over a new streak. Now the Steamers going to be very scary, and where does that start? Could it start this week? We're going to find out if they can best the Desperados pretty handily and stuff. But looking at the Marshals to try to claw their way back into winning this, which they would have to hope on a bad losing streak for the Steamers, which I don't see happening. They go up against the Thunderbirds. We already talked about that. Desperados, we talked about that. And then the Tigers and the Monarchs. Those last 2 games, I think, of course, heavy favorites. They should do that. Never sleep on the Tigers because of the roster. So that could be difficult. I think those first 3 games can be difficult for them. But I see them going either 2-2, possibly 3-1.
Yeah, I see 2-2, 3-1, and let me double check. And even that, I think the only way they win the division is if they win out.
Yeah, they gotta win out, and so I
So
don't
they
see
have
that
to go
happening.
4-0 to win the division.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. Then when you look on the other side with the Steamers, I think the Steamers just gotta win a game, right? Pretty much.
Yeah. So before you get into theirs, the Steamers are the only other team that can clinch a playoff spot this week. They can clinch the wild card with a win. They'll be in with a win, or they can win the division this week if they win and the Marshals lose.
Yeah.
They'll
So
clinch the East with a win and a Marshall's loss.
Steamers pretty much got this in the bag. Then definitely with 3 games ahead right now at this point in the season, and then look at this schedule. I mean, Desperados again still the favorite to win that. Uh, I think that's their toughest game left on the season. Is the Desperados, Tigers. It's just, of course, their record speaks for themselves right now. How things been going. I never sleep on the team, but I don't think they're better than the Desperados. And you got the Shamrocks. Never sleep on the team, but again, I think they got that in the bag. And then the Red Dragons, I mean, that's pretty much easy kill, should be, with how they performed this season. So I definitely see the Steamers either finishing out 4-0 or 3-1 if something just so happens to happen.
Yeah, I'm seeing 4-0 or 3-1.
Yeah. So, yep, East pretty much decided right there for Memphis. And we get to the last division, which is the NRC West. It always seems to be these teams fighting for it. And this is the only team out of after the realignment a few years ago that they have the exact same 4 teams, the division that started. And it's been a good division to tune into and look at. The Reload Bowl, reigning Reload Bowl champs, the San Jose Condors. They've had a couple of tough, close losses recently. They almost beat you guys. I think was that this week or last week. It was not too long ago. But the Crusader, I mean the Condors are just showing, hey man, we're not a fluke team. We still are a tough team to beat. And their last 4 games, they got the Crusaders twice, and both week 15 and week 17. And between that, they got the Shamrocks, which is on the road, and then they have the Barons. Looking at this, man, I think they sweep
I'm
the
thinking
the
three.
Crusaders. Huh?
I said I'm thinking 3-1.
Yeah, I think 3-1 or 4-0. Honestly, I think they can definitely beat the Barons. Barons is definitely their toughest team left on there. Still never sleep on the Shamrocks too. I think they're in terms of strength of schedule and order of the teams. You got the Barons as the toughest, Shamrocks next, and then Crusaders. So yeah, I think they either finish 10-7 or 11-6. So that's good right there for the Condors. Then we look at the oh yeah, what do you think? Oh yeah, you already said it, right? You said
Yeah, I said
they're
three
3-1.
one.
Yeah. Okay, then we look at the Salt Lake City Elks, man. They were looking really good, beating some good teams. Then recently they just started getting on the skid and looking bad. They just got blown out by the Cougars and McCall's return to action game, which was supposed to be someone went through while we were laughing. Let me see if it caught back up. It's definitely froze. We still live, guys? Let me know in the chat.
I still see the chats coming through, and you got the
Okay,
green bars.
yeah, I'm starting to see. Yeah, I don't know, computer's being weird, but yeah, so going through that. Then we have the Snowhawks, who, man, they had to go through a tough, gritty battle against the Huskies to win, to finally take back the West. They were down 13-0, came back 14-13, ended up being the final score. Both teams were able to get a defensive sack and score, a sack, scoop, and score. But the Snowhawks were the only ones that were able to score a touchdown that game, and that's what it was able to put them over the edge. And they got a game against the Dillos, which is like, oh, that's a huge game for some momentum to spark up right there, right? Then you got the Hot Cougars. Then they got the Pioneers and Crusaders. So, I mean, 3 of those games should be in the bag. And then their only real dogfight on
Is
paper
the
should be the Cougars, which I think is going to be a really good game, man. So I could definitely see the Snowhawks going 11-6 to 12-5 again. So 3-1
yeah.
or 4-0.
I'm thinking about 3-1 too.
He said there's no sound.
No sound.
What is going on?
Can they still hear us? There's no sound, but
Can y'all hear us?
because I mean, according to OBS, you still got the green bar. Yeah, they said we're good.
Okay, cool. I want to have me restart this thing, bro. That'd have been crazy. But yeah. So we're feeling the same scenarios on that. So that was it, man. Going through all these teams, I think the Snowhawks definitely should have the West in the bag now. So that win over the Huskies was huge for them. Very big comeback to persevere and do to get that done. And hold up, didn't the Crusaders beat the Snowhawks?
The
No, they didn't. I
Crusaders,
don't think they did.
no.
Okay, never mind. I don't know why I was thinking
Well,
they
their
did.
two losses is they got swept by the Elks in the division.
Yeah.
So they swept the Condors and swept the Crusaders, and then the Elks swept them.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what all happened. And then with that being said, let's go ahead and get a look at if the playoffs were to start today, what would it look like? This is the official playoff bracket after going through who we thought would win the division, who we think would make the playoffs. Boom, there it is. So we have the ARC side, number two, the number one seed. We talked about it. We got the Bisons currently with a bye week. At number two, we got the Huskies. Three is the Sentinels. Four is the Bulls. Five Cougars. Six Voyagers. Seven Celtic Tigers. Then on the NRC side, number one seed right now is the Diablos. And number two, we have the Steamers. Three Snowhawks. Four Explorers. Five Thunderbirds. Six Desperados, and seven Barons. So as we look at this, you know what we like to do. Let's go ahead and call who we think would win a Reload Bowl if it was to start today. So always go to the original conference first. ARC side, Bison's got the bye week. First game, Huskies, Celtic Tigers. Who would you have advancing on to face the Bisons?
Uh, we wouldn't know exactly who's because like if the Husky, I'm gonna pick the Huskies to win. They wouldn't play the Bisons the next round because we reseed.
Oh shoot, yeah. I forgot. It depends on. Oh, okay, yeah. My
So,
bad.
but I would take the Huskies to win this. I think the Celtic Tigers are having an amazing season, coming off of a Reload Bowl loss last year. But I think the what we talked about at the very beginning of the season, the regression, is really going to stand out in a playoff matchup scenario. So I would take the Huskies.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and agree with the same there. And how about this matchup, man? A three-game rematch: the Voyagers versus the Sentinels. I know the Sentinels would
And
dread
you know
this
the saying,
because you notice, yeah, there's never
man. You
been
know
a
the saying.
team to win three consecutive games as division rivals if they got the sweep. So the Sentinels swept the Voyagers. Just off of that alone, we've never seen it. I'm going with the Voyagers to win that one on
Yeah,
the
but
third time
it's
around.
never happened. You know, it happens a little bit in real life here and there, but in the RFL, it has never happened. So history says that the Voyagers win the third time.
Yeah, and as good of a coach as Baker is too, to get beat three times, I just don't see it. So we would have them advancing. Then we got the Hot Bulls and the Hot Cougars going at it against each other. Who do you got coming out on top of that one?
I'd have the Cougars coming out on top. I think the Bulls are having a good season, but I think those injuries finally catch up. I think the Cougars have a better offense and defense in general, just a better team in general. So I would take the Cougars.
All right, same there. And so what that matchup would be the Huskies
Bisons and
versus the
Voyagers.
Voyagers. Oh no,
No,
Huskies
the
versus the
Bisons and
Cougars and the
Voyagers.
Bisons versus yep. So Bisons and Voyagers. Who gets that one?
Mm.
That's a
Isn't
good
this an
game.
old division rivalry too?
Yeah, I think it is.
So getting to meet again.
And just to even bring up another thing too, Baker traded Carter Delahart to them to make them as beast of a team as they are too right now on that defensive side of the ball. So yeah, to go back against his old team too, that'd be amazing.
I think I would probably take the Voyagers in this matchup. I think the Bisons, just like I'm going to say with the Bulls, amazing season. They're further a lot than we all thought, but I still have questions about the Bisons quarterback.
This is where we differ on this one. I think the Bisons get it done because when you talk about something point out, that you point out earlier in this pod, Voyagers have struggled against good teams this year,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like the Bisons with that defense, as good as it is, and the still the firepower and the potential to have Bo Sanders back in this game, and even if he does somehow gets injured again and come back, and you got to deal with that other one, I think it's just too much firepower. I'm actually going to take the Bisons to come back and get their first playoff win in RFL history to advance to the ARC championship. Then we got the Cougars and the Huskies. That's crazy. So what if they split? We don't know that one yet. You know, so the Huskies
Yep.
would hope that they don't get the sweep at that point if this was the bracket. Um, but wow, How crazy would this playoff be if that happened? Who would you get? Who would you got advanced to the ARC championship in that one?
With how the teams look today, what we've seen through 13 games so far, I'm going to take the Cougars. I think coming this final stretch of the season, they've looked just better. As in the last four, the Cougars are 4-0, the Huskies are 1-3.
Yeah.
So I just think the Cougars just have everything clicking so far. So I would take the Cougars to win that.
Yeah, I just got a feeling. The crazy part about this is, either the Huskies get that sweep, which to me says, hey, you're going to lose in the playoffs. You face them, or at that point with how they're looking right now with their slump on offense and the Cougars' uprise on defense and everything that they got going on, I would probably more so lean towards the Cougars. So ARC championship for me would look like the Bisons versus the Cougars, and for you, you would have the what you said, the Voyagers
Voyagers and
versus
Cougars.
Cougars. Okay, who would you have going to the Real Bowl out of that matchup?
I would have the Cougars upsetting the Voyagers, or maybe not upsetting, but I'd have the Cougars beating the Voyagers. I think it goes last round that haven't played well against good teams, and the Cougars D line has just been on another level. Really only comparable to the Bulldogs, Diablo, Steamers D lines of this season,
Mm.
and so I think they overwhelm the Voyagers offensive line.
Man, this game with the Bisons and Cougars would be absolutely amazing for ARC championship because, bro, just think about if that was to happen. Yeah, the
They were the
team
top
that's
two picks last season.
the top two picks coming into
They
this
were the two
season playing
worst
in the
teams in the league
conference
last year.
championship, bro, having the two best drafts, and you're seeing all of that clash to see who's going to the Reload Bowl. That would be absolutely amazing. I ain't gonna lie, I would very much hope to see that. And so, who I would, it's almost even hard to pick who you would get winning because you got the Cougars defense is fire, but again, the Bison's defense is amazing too. There is some offensive issues at times for the Cougars, and the same deal for the Bisons. So it's like this is two evenly matched teams almost in a sense going at it. I'm probably going to take um I'll take the Cougars. I just feel like they slightly force more turnovers on defense. And if we're talking about two shaky offenses at times with their quarterbacks, respective quarterbacks, I feel like the Cougars would be the ones that force enough turnovers to just edge out the Bisons and go to the Real Bowl for the first time. And
So Rob, we
history.
both picked you to win the ARC, so you're just not going
No,
to
he
now.
probably hates it, but yeah, yeah, that's who we got going to the Real Bowl for the ARC side. NRC side, okay, we got the Steamers and the Barons. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think
I think
there's
it's
no
the
debate
Steamers no
here.
contest.
Yeah, yeah. So you got the Steamers for sure in that one. Hey, you make it to the playoffs. Hey, congratulations, Barons. It's been a while, man. That'd be awesome. And then we have the Snarks and Desperados. I think that would be a fire game. Um, the
I would take the Desperados.
Desperados actually destroyed them last time, man, and there was no
Yeah, I
injuries.
would take the Desperados.
I don't know why I would get a feeling though and choose the Snowhawks to win. So we would differ there. I don't know why. I just feel like it'd be different. So yeah, we'll switch on that. And then fire rivalry, one of the biggest rivalries until, of course, the realignment. Explorers
This
and
would be the last game of the
Thunderbirds.
week if the bracket was like this.
This would be amazing, bro. Like, yo, this bracket is fire. I hope it's something like this still. It's going to have no choice but to be because of the teams that are there where they're at. So the playoffs are going to be fire, bro. Y'all do not want to miss it. But I'm actually, who would you take in that, man? I can't even decide right
Yeah, I can't take the Thunderbirds because I can't let QPOC have the feeling of me pick his team.
now.
So I'm gonna take the Explorers.
I'm gonna probably go with the T-Birds off of the fact that the defense of the cornerbacks still kind of get me with the Explorers, man. You know, I feel like that would be the issue, and then there's some teams that's been able to run a little bit on them, and if they get Marcus Knight going, I'm just leaning more towards the Thunderbirds winning that matchup. So I'd say Thunderbirds, Snowhawks, Steamers advancing for me. You got the Steamers, Desperados, and Explorers. So in your scenario, it would be the
Desperados and me,
Desperados and Diablos, and the
and
Snow
then Steamers and
Steamers and
Explorers.
Thunderbirds. So of course you're going to go with
Steamers.
yourself. Uh, and with the Steamers and Thunderbirds, I mean, yeah, Steamers and Thunderbird. Oh no, Steamers and Explorers. Who would you
Have
get
the
in that one?
Steamers winning.
Steamers. Okay, yeah. Then, well, in my scenario, who would I have? Snowhawks. So Snowhawks would
You
face
have me and the
the
Thunderbirds, the Snowhawks, and the
Thunderbirds.
Steamers.
Yeah, okay. You and the Thunderbirds, Snowhawks. Now this would be a scenario if you sweep them Thunderbirds. Hey,
I haven't done
I
it
got no
yet. I
choice
haven't
but
done
to
it
take them. I haven't done it yet. I feel like you will, so I don't think you'd want to see that. So I'll
yet.
actually take the Thunderbirds in that scenario if it happens. So I'd
But it
actually
hasn't
get them.
happened.
Yeah, but I just feel like you're going to, so that's why I'm gonna take the Thunderbirds. And then for the I chose Snowhawks and Steamers. Um, I'm taking the Steamers. That was a good game last time they played each other too. So it'll be Steamers and Thunderbirds for me, and you and the. I might as well not even
Steamers.
ask you at this point because you're going to go with yourself. So you
Well,
got
I mean, the
yourself
only thing
going.
I have to say is that I do feel like throughout the entire season, CP has been saying it for weeks that the NRC championship does feel like it's just straight away train heading for Diablo Steamers,
Yeah,
like just championship game.
yeah.
Because I mean, I feel like these have
Other
been the
than
best
my
two teams.
scenario.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like if the Thunderbirds play the Steamers, man, I'm definitely gonna go take the Steamers in that one. So for me, I got the Steamers going to the Reload Bowl to play the Cougars. How crazy would that be? How crazy would that be, bro? Like CP, former Cougar, going to the Reload Bowl first time, got a chance to win his first Reload Bowl against his former team. Rob, for first time, going to the Reload Bowl, taking the Cougars for the first time to the playoffs. No, I mean to the Reload Bowl. Steamers never been in the Reload Bowl too. That storyline would be crazy, man. That storyline would be absolutely crazy. And I would take the Steamers though to win that one. Who would you take?
that would be
Well,
crazy. Anyway, Steamers, GG.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It would be crazy. I think it would be a good game though, man. Because I mean, again,
Yeah,
Cougars is a great team too. So I don't know, man. I just feel like there's still just too much talent with the Steamers. That's why I would go with them. But like if you went to the Reload Bowl, well, yeah, I mean nothing to ask, I guess, with you. Um, but yeah, I feel like it's the NRC, man. Either the Diablos, the Steamers, favorites right now based on scenarios to win the Reload Bowl. I think we've all been feeling like one of those two teams are for sure going to get it done this year. At first, it was the Snowhawks in that conversation, but they haven't lived up to the hype. They've lost a couple games, haven't been looking characteristic, no consistency really on offense. So that's been the issue. And so that's who our predictions. And this is my top 10 on who I think the top 10 teams in the RFL currently are. I want to go back to oh, this is division predictions. I'm going, yeah. I want to go back to week 3. I never posted this. This was the top 10 power rankings that I had at the time that I was supposed to post on social media, but again, I've definitely slacked off and just have not been able to do social media because of school. But yeah, this was the at the time the top 10 rankings from week 3. That's how far back it's been since we posted these up, which is
yeah.
crazy. But yeah, you guys then were the number one team, the Steamers, number one team. I mean, number two, Snowhawks, number three, Bulldogs, four, Explorers, five, Huskies, six, Thunderbirds, seven, Lumberjacks at the time. They're definitely not on there. Eight, Marshalls were nine, and Miners were 10, man. What teams, before I show my current top 10 rankings for week 15, do you think obviously is not on there no more, including the Lumberjacks? But what teams you think fell off, and what teams you think came in, and where do you think
I think
they
the
land?
Bulldogs have easily fallen off. I think
Oh yeah,
the
them too.
Lumberjacks, Marshalls, and Miners, at least those four teams have fallen off. I think and I think that's about it. I think the Diablos and Steamers are actually still going to just be 1 and 2. Um, the Snowhawks, Explorers, Huskies, Thunderbirds. I think those teams are still there. Now, teams that have jumped on, I think the Cougars have to be on there, and the Bison have to be on there. Both teams 9-4. I think both of those teams have to be in the top 10. And then the two other teams I think are still on there. Because that's only 8, so you got 2 more somewhere. I think the Sentinels might be in that 9-10 range, maybe 8. And I think maybe the Condors. I know the Condors have lost 3 in a row, but they lost to me by field goal, lost to the Explorers barely, and then barely lost to the Cougars. So I think if we have a 7-6 team on there, the Condors are the best 7-6 team in the league.
All right, so here is the top 10 for week 15, 12 weeks later. Image is still the same because Diablos are still number 1. Like you said, the Steamers are still number 2. Then you got the Huskies at 3, Cougars at 4, Bisons at 5, Snowhawks 6, Bulls 7, Explorers 8, Sentinels 9, and Desperados at 10. And I know that
The
the
Bulls
Thunderbirds.
completely slipped my mind.
You said what? Yeah, Bulls. Yeah.
The Bulls completely slipped my mind.
And I've just been going off of how they've been playing, man.
Mm.
Like in terms of this list, not just the Bulls I'm talking about, but I'm talking about
Yeah.
in terms of what I've seen. This is the top 10. This is how I feel the top 10 teams are. And I know the Thunderbirds, they're probably thinking like, yo, how we beat the Desperados and we beat them bad when we did play after the split. The thing is, right now, currently, with how the season's been going, I would fear more the Desperados than the Thunderbirds. I feel like they're about even, but right now, who would you rather face? I mean, you really don't want to see either of them, but I'm saying if you had a choice, I think the Desperados would be with the way Marquise Washington is playing and the consistency they have with that. That's why I have them at 10 in the top 10. The Sentinels, they beat the Thunderbirds and they beat the Desperados. Um, so I mean, I was just like, and they played tough teams and won, so they have to be over them. The Explorers, even though they've struggled, I still feel like, you know, when those corners play decent, all they have to do is play decent, and they can win. Bulls, they've been surprising me. They've been shocking me big time, man. They beat a lot of really good teams in my opinion. So I think that's how I'm feeling with them at a good 7. Despite the Snowhawks struggles, they're still a really good team. We saw that last week. This actually last night against the Huskies. Like despite nothing going on offense, that defense is that talented. That team is that talented. That after trailing and not putting up no points for 3 quarters, they still came back and won the game. So I think they're a really talented team. The Bisons, when I look at this, it would be
Killing, man.
interchange. Yeah, they've been killing. It could be interchangeable with the Snowhawks, Bisons, and like the Snowhawks could very well be 4. It's almost like a 3-way tie between 4, 5, and 6 for number 4. That's how I feel about it. But just based off of the inconsistency with the offense, I feel like there's been more inconsistencies offensively for the Snowhawks than I've seen for the problems with the Bisons and the Cougars. And just like how I predicted, if the playoffs were to start today, I would have the Cougars beat the Bisons in an ARC championship game if that happened. So that's why I got them on top. Huskies, hey, they beat the Cougars. I think and they've been really good. They've had that slump on offense, but I feel like when that's happened, they've played really good teams. If they get back to playing Huskies football, explosive offense, they're dangerous. So I had to keep them at 3. So I was just like, I'm just still keep them there. And then obviously the Steamers, despite their 2-game losing streak right now, I mean, I think they're going to bounce back pretty soon. And you guys, obviously the number 1. We've had you guys predicted to win the Reload Bowl this year, and we'll see what happens. So that's the top 10 rankings for week 15. I'm going to try to post all this on social media this time, guys, just to get some content on there. I know we're going to lose followers and everything on there because they're going to be like, oh, you guys haven't posted so long. You posted now. It is what it is, man. It's the best I could do right now in my situation. But yeah, so we got through, I think, just about everything except for awards. All right, so we're going to go through awards. And after awards, if there's any scenario you want to bring up, well, actually, we'll have a fun facts with Pat thing. I think Pat sent me some stuff, so I'll get that in real
We
fast.
did all the scenarios already.
No, I'm talking about like not scenarios, but like league situations. But I think we talked about that at the
Oh,
same time as we were going. So
yeah.
it's really nothing. There's really nothing else to talk about. I think. So yeah, let's go into the awards first, starting with the quarterback of the year and the ARC. We always start in the original conference first. ARC, Calvin Poole still leading for best quarterback in the conference right there. Then you guys can see the rest. I'm not going to go down the list because obviously we're almost at about 2 hours right now for this podcast. So I just kind of want to get in and out right now. And of course, we still got 4 more weeks to see how things end up. So right now, ARC, best quarterback, Calvin Poole. I think he's got 27 touchdowns to 2 interceptions right now. So he's been doing his thing. And we go to ARC, best running back. And that is, did it populate?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you got Jacob Haynes right now, leading for best running back. He's definitely outside of the two top running backs who are both in the NRC right now with Steele and Axel. ARC side, Jacob Haynes has been killing the game, and he's got 17 rushing touchdowns on the season. It's been an absolute stud, a beast. Corey Leonidas has been kind of leading that for majority of the season, but it's been a battle mainly because of the touchdowns of Haynes there. So be on the lookout for either one of them. And Kenny Stills kind of pressing a little bit. No, I mean, not Kenny Still, Kingston Kenny, 2K is right there too. I don't think he'll catch them though, to be honest, but it's definitely between Haynes and Leonidas in my opinion there. And for ARC best wide receiver, Cam Rux, man, he's been having a great season for the Celtic Tigers. Definitely been a huge part of their turnaround. And it definitely looks like he's going to have 1,000 yards this season. Farrell Rains, he was leading this for a minute. Cam Jones is in the mix as well. So it's definitely between those three who's going to get this. It's really a toss up there because again, Rux just kind of shot up here. Um, but it's either going to be Rux, Jones, or Rains, in my opinion.
Hope Reigns gets it, man. He deserves it.
Yeah, he's been a dog man for years. Just really not been getting the love. They don't have a tight. I still don't understand how they don't have tight end on this. So I don't have anything for that. Um, offensive line, we don't have that either because there's been a glitch. But I'm gonna be honest, Forbes, they look like they fixed it. So the offensive line looks like it's working now. It used to be nothing but long snappers for guys who don't know, but it's all good now. Uh, let's go to. I think it'll be D line now, so that'll be D.
No, it's still all long snappers, at least in the NRC.
Uh,
And the AR,
maybe it
the ARC.
alters because maybe since I'm the commish, I see actually all linemen. Like I didn't see no long snappers anymore. I
Well, I
checked
see
today.
like the third string tackle for the Bulldogs is currently fifth.
And who is that?
Anthony Moore.
Yeah, it might be different on my end, but we're not gonna go through it today. So I guess we might as well. We'll get it next time we're on the pod. See what's going on with that. For D line, we got Nolan Angelo for the ARC side. Um, for the Dreadnoughts there. Sam Robbins has been fighting hard at that spot too, man. I think it's going to come down to Sam Robbins or Nolan Angelo for me, the ARC for best D lineman.
I'm really
And we
surprised that Brewer shoots up there from four.
said Brewer.
Yeah, because he's currently at fourth. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a couple of huge games down the stretch.
Yeah, he could. Yeah. And then we got linebacker. Oh, I was about to click the wrong conference. Um, linebacker for the ARC got AJ Pestock. He's been leading this since the awards came out. And he's been killing for the Huskies. I don't think this changed. I think he's going to take home the best linebacker of the year award. I think he's won this before in the past. If not, he's definitely deserving of it. He's been a great linebacker in the league for years. Um, let me see. Is anybody really looking at Higgins and Forney? They're doing pretty good too, but I still don't think they're like quite matching what
I think it's
Pestock's been doing.
easily Penn Stock right now.
Yeah. So that's their off-ball linebacker. Then we got ARC DB of the year right now, and it is Trey Sinclair, old vet for the Dreadnoughts. He's been in his, I think this is his 10th season, man. He's definitely been a guy, one of the top DBs in the league for years. So it's really a chance for even Eves to be in that discussion. He was leading at one point, so I think it's between Trey Sinclair and Xavier Eves, honestly. for best DB. I would like to see Eves win it, man.
I would
He's
like to
been
see
a
Eves win it too.
yeah, he's been a great cornerback for years. Got a chance to win one, and he's right there. I think he'll win one eventually, but it'd be great to see him this year. Trey Sinclair, I think he's won one before. But still, if the old head gets it, it's good either way. Then we got best kicker we even got on here, and that's Owen Hunt. None of you guys probably know him, so just let you guys know Owen Hunt of the Aviators. And let's go look at the rookies. Oh yeah, players of the year. Uh, so offensive player of the year, the ARC is Corey Leonidas, which is weird because Haynes is leading for best running back, but I guess for offensive player, Leonidas is also a good receiving back too.
Receiving stuff. Yeah,
So it's
I think
probably incorporating everything. Yeah. So as a whole, yeah. And you know what's crazy? Look at this list. Look who's at number 3, the rookie. Casey
Casey
Robinson
Robinson.
is literally number 3 for offensive player of the year. And with 4 weeks left, if he continues to do crazy things on the ground like he's been doing, we could potentially see him win offensive player of the year, which is
Mm-hmm.
just crazy. And he jumped up 5, was it 4? Yeah,
Five.
4,
Yep.
5
From a
overalls.
74 to a 79.
Yep. That's 10 overall increase for him since coming into the league. He was a 69. So,
And he
and
wins these 2 awards easily 83.
yeah. So, I mean, he couldn't have landed at a better spot, man. Like that was just the perfect place for him to go. And then we have for defensive player of the year in the ARC, Sam Robbins. So again, I kind of don't understand that one. He should be leading for defense, but I guess he's
Got
doing
more
other things.
overall. Because who was leading Nolan? So I think maybe Nolan Angelo has more sacks, but Sam Robbins has like more forced fumbles or maybe more
Yeah, that's
swats
probably
or.
what it is. But also look at number 2, man. This is a guy who just showing that he's definitely going to be one of the elite Hall of Famers, Austin Sanders.
Oh
Won
yeah,
one Rookie of the Year last year, and he did not have a sophomore slump whatsoever. This
I
guy
hope
is
Sanders comes back and takes it.
yeah, yeah, man. If he could do that, imagine that going offensive
Rookie
Rookie
of
of
the
the
year,
year, and then the
player of the
next
year.
year defensive player of the year, like
Well, that means third year MVP.
crazy, man, crazy. And now we can get into the rookies. So for offensive rookie of the year, in the ARC, Casey Robinson, obviously, hands down. Bo Sanders, he's out for the remainder of the season, so he's gone.
Zach Tank
Zach
is hurt.
Tank was hurt since week 11. Arturo Flores is Casey Robinson's tight end, so he's not there. And the only guy who's got any type of shot at this point is Dylan Lewis. And I don't think Dylan Lewis can catch Casey Robinson unless he has
No,
crazy amount of
yeah,
touchdown
not all
passes.
those rushing yards.
Yeah, Casey's just been killing it, man. He's probably still going to have over 3,000 passing yards. He's over 1,200 rushing yards right now. So this should be Casey Robinson's award to win, man. It was crazy because I mean, beginning of the season we weren't expecting him to be that guy to do what he did. We knew he was going to be pretty decent, but we did not expect him to put on the show he's been putting on his rookie year. So that's amazing. And then for ARC Defensive Rookie of the Year, right now is Russell Shackelford. So the steal in the second round for the Bulldogs.
It really should have been Cena, man, if he would have gotten
Yes,
hurt.
Cena Anawai, man, season-ending injury, man. He jumped up in overalls big time, and had he just been able to stay healthy, he'd probably be past mid 80s, like
Yeah,
87.
I mean, if Cena was healthy, there's a good chance he's on that defensive player of the year list too.
Yeah,
With
for
because I
sure.
think he had like 15 sacks like the first 6 weeks.
Yeah, Ethan Marks is in the mix as well, but I feel like they got so many guys.
Yeah, we can say the same thing about Shackelford. He's playing with Brewer and all that.
Though Jermaine Taylor hogging
Oh,
things
I
up.
can't.
Huh?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, yeah, it disconnected a little bit. But yeah, so that's defensive rookie of the year. And now we're going to the ARC
The
side.
NRC.
Yeah, NRC side. Well, I got offensive. Okay, that's why. NRC side, best quarterback. Clearly Marquise Washington. This dude's been shredding defenses. And man, he's deserving of this award. I can't tell you how many times he's been close to winning this award since coming in the league, and he just never did it. It's like the MVPs always took it away from him. But this year, I think he's got it pretty much in the bag. Only other guys who can come up is Daryl Johnson, and Daryl Johnson I think has 25 touchdowns or 24, so he's 6 touchdowns away. And Marquise Washington can scramble and run for touchdowns too, like him. So Marquise should come away with this one, but don't be surprised if Daryl Johnson gets in the mix. And honestly, don't leave out Reed Wagner either. You
Yeah,
know that,
Reed Wagner has more yards than Washington right now.
yeah. So I think what's really giving Washington the edge is just the touchdowns, but
Yeah.
Wagner is not too far off. So those top three definitely could be either one of those guys. Um, then we got NRC running back of the year, which I mean we all know this, Madison Axel. I mean this guy is clearly going to have 2,000, if not already 2,000 rushing yards on the season.
He's
And
already broken the rushing touchdown record.
yeah, rushing touchdown
And
record was 21. He had 22.
he's
So
about 80 yards away from the rushing yard record.
yeah, so he's definitely solidified Hall of Famer, big time. Can he still? There's no one who has a chance here, right? None of the rest of the guys have a chance. Kenny still was up there yards for a moment with him, but then
Well,
even when if you're
even
looking at that, the
still,
touchdowns was just
yeah,
vastly different.
Steele is only 130 yards away, like having a great season, but Axel has 9 more touchdowns.
Yeah, that's a huge gap right there when you're talking about touchdowns. And that's mainly what wins you those awards. Are you scoring? Don't matter about the yards really too much. It's about if you're scoring. And then we can look at the best wide receiver, Cecil Austin the third, and he's leading the entire league in receiving yards. I think he's got over 1,100, almost 1,200 receiving yards already right now. Yeah, and he's got like 8 or 9 touchdowns right now. So yeah, 8 touchdowns. C.J. Robinson's still in the fold. Roland Woods. I think those three are really still who has a shot because I think
I really think
really the touchdowns are big.
it's really just Cecil Austin because I'm looking at this now. Cecil Austin is basically 1,200. The next closest receiver, which is C.J. Robinson, is at like 950. So Cecil Austin has
Yeah, but
a
then that's
200.
about the really about the
Yeah.
touchdowns. The touchdowns are more important than the yards for this award. So like, how far is Robinson's receiving touchdowns off from Austin's as well as Woods? Because I think
So if
that's
we go
pretty close.
touchdowns, Austin has 8. So he has one more than Robinson, and him and Woods have the same amount, but he has almost 300 more yards more than Woods.
If C.J. Robinson is able to surpass him in touchdowns, I do feel like the game would actually give it to him over the yards. So I'd say C.J. Robinson, and you say how much Woods is off?
Woods is 300 yards behind Austin with the same amount of touchdowns.
Oh, he's got the same amount of touchdowns as Austin.
Yeah, they both have
Yeah.
8, but Roland Woods is only at 890 yards.
Okay. Yeah. So more so Robinson and Austin. So it's not all the way in the clear for Austin. No tight end, no offensive lineman award to go through. NRC defensive line. Um,
Bring him on out, Smitty.
Tyrone Johnson, man, a record breaker. The dude's a beast. Don't get me wrong, but Jesus, 30 and a half sacks right now in the season.
With 4
This
games left.
and I did say in the beginning of the podcast that I was going to talk about this, man. I've definitely like the gameplay of this Madden. Uh, for most things, I've enjoyed, but when it comes to sacks and it comes to the OP-ness of running backs, the blocking, the bad quarterback awareness, the bad linebacker pursuit angles, the runs, and the broken plays, which legacy plays like cornerbacks standing on behind the receiver they're supposed to guard, giving up touchdowns, or the broken pitch play and stuff like that. Like that's what's killed this game, man. For the most part. But it's still made for an amazing season, though. To be honest, like, but if I could take away anything, and I'm gonna put this out there for the coaches. I said I was going to do this in a sense the year before because we had a little bit of an issue, but this was definitely the worst that it's been in terms of issues that I should have acted on, but I never put a message out to my coaches about this, and that is if something like this is foreseeable to happen again, I don't care what nobody says, I'm changing sliders. I don't care what point we are in the season. They cannot afford to have numbers like this be swayed. Now, if it's one player doing something crazy, everybody else seems normal, that's fine. That means, okay, this dude's really balling. He's different. But the fact that we have almost 10 guys with 20 sacks right now, and yeah, they're good players, but it's
We
not
have
realistic,
11 players with 19 or more.
That's ridiculous. Like that's ridiculous. And I'm not going to do it this year because it's like, this I'm just not going to do it this year right now. The playoffs is coming up, and it's too many guys already that's passed it. And I hate the fact that our record books are going to be shattered in a sense because of this. And there's going to be guys who will never be able to touch these these records because of how broken that aspect of the game was with D linemen getting through. That's one thing I would say I was been very disappointed with this Madden. Then at the same time too, when you're looking at the offensive line, I will also say like our league has a big problem at the offensive line. So, I understand it, but still to have this many sacks, I don't think it's just that. It definitely isn't just that. The game as a whole has way too many sacks. They don't have the quarterbacks making the right decisions to get rid of the ball. And no matter
It's
what you do, you really can't fix. I mean, you can fix this, but it will be a drastic difference in certain aspects of the game that I just don't want to do that right now because way too many guys are already past the limits that they should be. So we're just gonna let it rock now. But if I see that any years moving forward, I don't care if it's week 17, I'm changing it. I'm letting coaches know that right now. So yeah, let's see Mixon. He said, "Nah, don't steal the thunder, Pro Bowl." Yeah, nah, man, this has been ridiculous, man. Like every other aspect isn't bad, like it really isn't. Um, but it's literally been the sacks and the OP running backs. That's
well,
it.
and I mean, I feel like it's really just Axel and Steele because like Amari's in third and only has 1,400.
Nah, bro, look at the averages.
Well, the
That tell
averages are high.
that
I mean,
tells you
like,
everything you need to know. Like if an average,
I mean, like in terms of, but you're talking about like breaking records and stuff. In terms of record breakers, I think there's only two running backs who even have a chance to get over the record.
well, even then, we're talking. I have a top 10 records list. So where they're going to place, they're going to pretty much push out anybody who was in that top 10 of the records list completely out. So you're mainly going to have nothing but season 10 guys take that list. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to defense. And then as a whole with the league, like with the game, to have guys averaging 5 to 7 yards a carry is ridiculous. And I'm talking about that's almost for every running back, which means,
Yeah,
yeah,
looking
there's
at
a
the
problem.
top 10, Axel's at 7.3, Kenny Stills at 6.9, Amir Williams is 6.3, Tavion Hall's 5.5, Kingston
That's
Kenny's 6.3.
ridiculous. Like, yo,
So
dude,
he,
like, dude, we should be having the best running backs averaging like mid five, maybe six if they were that legit yards a carry. To have mostly everyone doing that is ridiculous. And so like that's how you could tell that aspect of the game is just they did a poor job in minimizing the damage, the power of the running back. And so
yeah,
those are the aspects of this game, man. This game could have been like I was literally saying before the beginning of this season, Madden 26 was going to be the best game that we played on. But after as the season went on, I'm still going to put it in their top 3 for sure. But definitely not the best Madden gameplay we've had in RFL history because of that aspect. It just literally just destroyed the history in terms of records and stuff like that. But the games have been fire though. Not gonna lie, the game's been fire. Like I mean, that's great. In terms of season, this could definitely be one of the best seasons in RFL history in terms of watching, for sure. But in terms of realism, the play, no, not at all. Just wanted to make sure to point that out. Um, okay, now after D line, let's get to linebackers in NRC. Uh, Daniel Severio was running this for a minute. And Jacob Reed Jr. was definitely on his neck for most of the time, and he's overtaking it now. So I do feel like it's either going to be between Reed and Severio. I don't see any other off ball linebacker really doing this. It would be cool if Severio can win it though. I'm be honest.
No man, Zeno about to come back from ninth place and take it.
Oh no, Zeno's done, man. but yeah. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. It's definitely between those two guys, man. I'd like to see Severio because I think Reed won best linebacker before, but he might not have. So either one of them win it, that'd be awesome.
No, because I think yeah, no, I don't. He definitely won Rookie of the Year. I don't ever think he won Linebacker of the Year. I think Tyler Cage has been leading that, which he's not even on the list right now.
Yeah, but I mean, that's awesome. I mean, that means either way it goes, that's great. I don't,
Yeah.
either one of those guys win it is good. Frederick Roper's been leading this since the beginning. He's got the most interceptions in the league right now with 5, which is kind of low. But I mean, this season there hasn't been a lot of interceptions going on.
Well, I
Uh,
think last season only 7 or 8 led the league last year.
yeah, but it was that's still more like in terms of what everyone else got. Because I seen at least there's a good amount of guys with 3 to 4, even 5. But now it's like 5 is the most. And if a guy's got 3 interceptions, it's a linebacker or something. It's not even a corner.
Yeah.
So the interceptions have been low. I didn't want interceptions to be high because historically in the league, picks have been high. So I had turned that down to 40. And with that being down to 40, man, I didn't think it was going to have that drastic of an effect. But I mean, think about how many interceptions we would have had if that was on base, though. It's been a lot of balls thrown straight to defenders that should
Well,
have
I think
probably
a
been
lot of
picked
that
off.
had to do with do with Madden. Because like when you watch the games, like you bring it up earlier, like it feels like corners aren't really jumping routes this year.
Yeah, like you
You know what I
see you see it happen. It's definitely happened in the league, but like
mean?
it's just rare. It's like
There's
the
a lot of times where
quarterbacks
they're just standing watching
it's
the receiver catch the ball.
it's been poor quarterback programming
Yeah.
this year for sure because even though the passing game looks better, I'd say probably than any Madden in a sense we've had in terms of like just the passing game looking realistic because our pass numbers used to be OD high. This time it's more realistic, but the issue is they'll throw a ball straight to a linebacker and he's sitting there. Now we've had issues with guys doing like throwing straight to players before, but it's just like this year is horrible with it. They'll look a dude straight down, no need to throw the ball, throws it straight to the dude, or it'll be pressure finally coming in. You got other options, and you throw in a double to triple coverage when the game's on the line. So it's been just bad quarterback programming this year in Madden. Um, but yeah, that is what was I on DB? So now with
Yeah.
the kicker of the year now. Yeah, so
Yeah.
best kicker, AJ Moore, ladies and gentlemen. Steamers. That's all I can say. Y'all guys don't know him. NRC now we go to NRC defensive offensive player of the year. Yeah, so here we go. NRC Offensive Player of the Year. Obviously, Madison Axel has been going crazy. Already talked about his stats. Really, nothing we can say there. He's literally got the most touchdowns out of anybody right now in RFL history. And then we
Got quarterback
have
stats.
what is that?
He's got quarterback stats out there.
Facts. And then we've got Defensive Player of the Year, which doesn't make any sense to me for the NRC. Unless
Well,
Blackman's been
I'll go
doing
to
other things, maybe. But I don't, I looked at the
yeah.
stats and it still isn't making any sense to me.
So let's see if I go look at it real quick because I was looking at it earlier for NFC defense. So he's got 5 more sacks. He's got 5.5 more sacks. But Blackman has 30 more tackles, 3 more TFLs, and interceptions. What about forced fumbles? And he has 7 more forced fumbles.
Okay, maybe the forced fumbles is what did it. But I really think what jumped him over the edge was the fact that he had that 10 sack game, which again, this is why I'm mad at Madden. Like who has 10 sacks in one game? Like that's
What's the
ridiculous,
same
bro.
thing? It's the same thing
ridiculous.
with Tyrone Johnson. When you go back and look at him, he had one game with 8. No, he had a 7 sack game,
Hmm.
and then the very next week he got 8.
That's just like, come on,
So
man.
Tyrone Johnson has
Like
15 of
that's
his 30
OD.
sacks in 2 games.
That's OD, bro. Like I'm gonna be honest, I'll leave it up to the coaches, bro. I mean, we already passed that, but I'll still just do it for a vote, just see what people say. But if dudes want to try to level this stuff out, just let me know, and I'll put up a vote. If guys want to change that, we can look at trying to change certain things up. But if guys don't want to do it, I'm fine with that. But I really don't like the sacks. Only thing I would try to touch is we got to slow down these sacks, and we gotta find a way to close the gap more for running backs not to be popping off every run darn near. That's the two things I would look at changing. That is that alone. But
So where to Tyrone Johnson? Because I think he also, because he did that. Let me go look. Let me go check. Yeah, he's jumped 4 overall this year. Tyrone Johnson.
yeah, crazy work, man.
Let me go this.
Crazy. All right, then we get to our last two awards. Well, no, not our last two awards. We got our last two Rookie of the Year awards, and then our MVP right now. So for Offensive Rookie of the Year in the NRC is Dior Gore right now over his quarterback. Uh, and so I feel like a dude who was at on top for a little bit too to look out for is Rohan Boxy.
Yep.
So those three right there, guys, look out for. But Rohan has only got like 690 yards or something like that receiving, but he does have the touchdowns. So he's kind of been getting up there in touchdowns. And a big goal, I don't know if Rohan is here, but Rohan, if you get 2 more touchdowns on the season in these next 4 games, which you got the quarterback to get it done, you are going to get 25,000 XP,
Mm.
which means you would literally jump. Where would that, like, you would probably jump like 5 to 6
I think
overalls.
at least 5. If
Yeah,
you said 25,000,
25,000 he'd get.
I think at least 4, maybe 5, depending on how much XP he's got now.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 4 to 5 too. Yeah, but that's to see where he came from. He came in at 68, and I told him this. This is why we draft. This is why I told you, man. This play there. Watch what happens. He got a chance to play just like I said. He's jumped in overall. I think he's a 74 now. So you get that, bro. You're like
He's
already looking at an 80. Like, and that's not including if you end up winning this award. So that's amazing.
I think
Uh,
realistically, Rivers should come back and win this award. He had that 3 interception game against the Monarchs, which dropped him.
mm. And then we got NRC Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'm trying to find it. Which, and this is clear cut. Nick Oakland. This dude, man, what he got? 23 and a half
23.
sacks?
Yeah, 23
23,
and a half.
23 and a half sacks, man, as a rookie. Again, love Nick Oakland, but there's no reason for a rookie to have 23 and a half sacks on the season. I know I already sound like it, but I'm expressing how much I hate this. Like I really do not like the fact that there's that many sacks going on right now in the league. Ridiculous. But
Yeah, and then second place, Lou Burks only has 13 and a half.
yeah, so yeah, Quinn's
Oh,
got this in the bag. Um Unless we get a crazy pop off game where Lou Burks get like 10 sacks in a game.
that's also true.
So like even that's not clamp. Uh and last one is MVP, which is look at this, bro. Like, are we serious? MVP, a defensive. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I'm heated. Like, I'm not, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, I really do not like the fact that a dude has unrealistic number of sacks. This dude came out of nowhere. Some people knew Tyrone Johnson wasn't just a bum, but like, where did he come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, and 30 and a half sacks and dude's about to win league MVP. That just destroys history, bro. Like, come on. I like
and,
literally season 10,
and
we're gonna
there's
have
a
to
good
put an
chance
asterisk next to
all
records.
these sacks.
That's how bad this was. Like, there's no reason for this. There's no reason for this many sacks to be happening in a
It
game.
looks like, and I mean, I would guess that like we're gonna have 2 years in a row if this stands where the MVP is gonna miss the playoffs
Like, this is trash. Literally. Like, this should never happen in a game. Never.
with a defensive player
Literally,
winning
bro.
MVP.
Like, No, I'm just like, yeah, in a sense that too. But bro, the seasons that Marquise Washington said he's got 30 touchdowns to 3 interceptions, and a guy gets 30 sacks and beats him out. Axel's got 2,000 rushing yards and 22 rushing touchdowns, and he beats him out. Come on now, there's no way. It shouldn't even have that high of sacks. Like
Yeah.
this is really annoying me. Like there's no reason for these guys to be on this list. If they're on the list, they should be towards the bottom. But the fact that we got defensive players here because they can't control the sack numbers and have better quarterback awareness to minimize those sack numbers is ridiculous.
Yeah, there's 5 defensive players on this list.
This is terrible. Absolutely terrible. I'm still I don't care, Mix. I'm still asking if the coaches want to do it. I'm gonna go ahead and still throw it up there. They probably gonna say no anyway, but I'm still throwing it up there. Dudes want to do it. I'm for it. I'm sick of this, but I mean, if y'all don't want to do it, it is what it is. But next season for sure. I don't care what nobody says. I'm changing slides. I'm not having this happen no more. Like this is horrible. Uh, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
All that's left is the. We got time for fun
What
facts with
happened to my?
Pat?
Yeah, Pat, we probably gonna have to hold because I gotta download those and throw those in. We gonna have to hold you. Well, nah, because then he gonna have to. Let's knock him out real fast, man. Yeah, let's just knock him out. Um, what was I about to say? Why's my camera not on? Let's see. All right, I'm back. All right. You know what, Pat? I'm gonna just read these out. That'll be faster instead of just throw them in there. Okay. Uh, that's the best way to go about it. All right. So you guys can't see it, but if you're listening, we'll see if you get to know it. Question number 1: which team is on a 6-game winning streak?
Oh, we said that multiple times throughout the.
This is kind of wrong too, though.
At least 2.
Yeah, this is wrong. This is wrong too. Pat.
There's 2 teams. There's 2 teams.
Yeah, it's 2 teams. So it's 2 teams. Name the 2 teams that are currently on a 6-game win streak. Guys should be able to find this real fast off if you know what you're using.
Gotta
Gotta
name
be
both
two
teams.
teams.
And it's gotta be the same message.
Mm-hmm. Time's winding down because I know y'all can get access to Neon real quick. So I'm only giving y'all 15 seconds. 10. Oh, wait. Start from 10. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Tayshawn
4.
Taylor
We
got it.
got one. Keyshawn Taylor got it. It's the Celtic Tigers and the Desperados. All right. Question number 2. The last time the Austin Armadillos won a game, man, won a game, 2 players combined for a game-saving tackle with literally 1 second left in the fourth quarter. Name either player.
What kind of question is that?
I don't know.
Name 2 random Armadillos players, guys.
I don't know about this one, Pat.
I think that's too
I get the
specific.
little curveball, but yeah, I can't give you reloads for this one. But if somebody somehow happens to get this, then I'll
Because
give
I
them
don't.
reloads.
I mean, the only hint I could give is that it's probably obviously they're on defense. Um,
If
it's
you can
probably
find it
it's either
real
2.
fast, they tackled Marquise Washington. at the 6-yard line to win it 31-25. 2 players. Not
Well,
going
they
to tell you
tackle
the week, but
Ingram and Leathers.
nope.
I mean, they tackled the quarterback, so you don't know if that's 2 D linemen, a linebacker, 2 DBs who he scrambled. I mean, I'm
Yeah, I'm
guessing
gonna just end this one. This is too much, bro. No reloads for this. It was Isaiah Ingram, who's not even on the team anymore, and Omar Delps, the
Yeah, no one
rookie.
was getting Omar Delps.
Yeah, nobody was getting either one of those, bro. Well, they were saying Ingram Leathers, but
Yeah, see,
nobody would have said Delps.
people even know that Delps is a player on their team.
Yeah. Okay, question number 3. Last time we did a podcast, where were 3 players with 800 career? There were 3 players with 800 career receptions: Guyton, Roy, and Shropshire. Now there are 5. Name either of the 2 men who just passed 800 the 800 reception mark. So this is you can name either.
Where is this? Is it here? Here? Is it here? Here it is. How much time do they have for this?
I ain't even peep. They said they only needed to name 1.
Well, then CP got it.
Okay. Oh yeah, CP got that then.
All right, how much time do they have?
Like 20 seconds. We got named 2
uh,
other players that joined: Keith Guyton, Dexter Roy, and Randy Shropshire. Name one of them. Is he say name? Name either of the 2. Yeah, so name one of those 2. One of those 2 extra players that also got 800 career receptions.
no one said it yet.
10, 9,
In the
8,
RFL zone,
7.
Pat posted it
He
today.
got it. That was CP got it. He on the road. One of them was Matt Nayani, and the other one was Eric Reese. And the last question of the day. In Season X, only one team has beaten the Diablos in Mexico City. Which squad did it? Y'all literally got like 25 seconds for this because it's only been 2
In
teams.
Mexico City?
Yeah.
I only have 2 losses, so
Yeah.
just
10,
both teams.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
No one even attempted to answer.
Yeah. Yep. So it was the Brooklyn Bulls.
In week 1.
That was way back in week 1. Yeah. Is it delayed? I've seen some people answer. Oh no, it was straight. They missed that. So yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, that's it, man. It's been a long pod, almost over 2.5 hours. We started on time on our first day back. How about that? That barely ever happens. Yeah, man. A month left for the RFL season. Playoff time is here. One more time to show you guys the playoff bracket. This is what we got. Got the current bracket. Of course, it's going to change within the month. Got some playoff scenarios. And we'll see about having a podcast. I don't know if I can do one until maybe the second to last week or maybe the last week of the season, before the last week of the season. But yeah, it's been a pleasure doing this once again. Thank you guys for showing out. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and you like what you're seeing. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.